Well, sure, if you're going to bin them, she can throw them my way. I'll find an old spot for them somewhere. Can we get a busy weekend birthday party?
We were at
Molly was 100.
Molly Darnan's 100th birthday yesterday.
Wow.
Party was lovely.
Big
we were
turnout.
in Silver Tassie. Yeah, it was a couple hundred people.
I've seen the pictures. It was amazing.
And I was sitting with Kathleen and Eileen, two sisters from Remountain.
Lovely.
And they were lovely, lovely ladies. And
what's the secret then to 100?
I never asked. I don't know actually.
Yeah.
But she's in fantastic shape.
Great. The pictures are lovely.
Whatever Molly's doing, keep
it going, Molly. Keep it going.
She doesn't listen, but she'd heard of me. But she doesn't listen. She says.
Right.
But
she's the only one that doesn't listen to you.
But she'd heard of me.
She heard of the boy himself.
All right. You have a goodie for this Monday. Thanks, Lee. It's 9 o'clock. Let's get a news update, and we cross over now to Donna Marie Doherty.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. An independent investigation has found no evidence that Damien McCrory, a Strabane man killed by the Provisional IRA, was an informer. That's according to a report in the Irish News based on findings from Operation Canova. Mr McCrory was abducted, interrogated and killed by the IRA on October 7th on 1985. The IRA has accused the 20-year-old of providing information that led to the deaths of 3 Republicans, Charles Breslin's and brother Michael and David Devine, who were shot and killed by the British Army in Strabane. The report reveals that McCrory's family later received a confession letter. However, Operation Canova concluded that this confession was likely coerced. Mr McCrory, who was believed to have had learning disabilities, was unable to read or write. The murder of Donegal soldier Private Sean Rooney is to be discussed at the United Nations General Assembly. The Donegal native was shot dead while on a UNIFIL peacekeeping mission in Lebanon in 2022. Taoiseach Micheál Martin is to meet the President of Lebanon to discuss the need for justice for Private Rooney, as well as the current state of Palestine. A man has been charged to court after 2 police officers were injured when their patrol vehicle was rammed in Ballymagorry on Saturday. The 26-year-old has been charged with at least 9 offences, including assault on police, resisting police and attempting to cause grievous bodily harm with intent to resist apprehension. He's due to appear before Derry Magistrates Court this morning. The widow of the murdered Conservative activist Charlie Kirk says she forgives the man accused of killing him. Erica Kirk was speaking at a memorial for her husband, who was shot dead earlier this month. Donald Trump also paid tribute, as did Vice President J.D. Vance.
The evil murderer who took Charlie from us expected us to have a funeral today, and instead, my friends, we have had a revival in celebration of Charlie Kirk and of his Lord Jesus Christ.
Check-in and bag drop-off may take longer than usual at Terminal 2 at Dublin Airport this morning. Passengers are being advised to arrive at the airport as normal today, but allow for extra time if checking in or dropping off bags in Terminal 2. A technical issue affected check-in and boarding systems at airports across Europe over the weekend. The DAA said some airlines are continuing to use manual workarounds to issue bag tags and boarding passes in Terminal 2. Terminal 1 is said to be operating as normal. Looking now to weather, a crisp, dry and sunny start for most, though it is cloudier at the coasts. Further cloud will build during the afternoon, but it will stay mostly dry, continuing colder than average with highest temperatures of 11 to 14 degrees. That's all for now from the newsroom. Back with more at 10 o'clock.
"20 seconds just isn't enough time to tell you all the value you can bag at Maxall, so I better not waste any more time. Bread, cornflakes, bananas, oats, tea, coffee, milk, apples, ham, cheese, rice, pizza, pasta, chopped tomatoes, spaghetti hoops, beans, tuna, rashers, sausages, eggs, bin bags, toilet roll, toothpaste, dog food. See? You'll find bags more at Maxall.
The county's #1 talk show, the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio. And now, it's time for the talk of the Northwest, the 9 to noon show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello and a very good morning. You're very welcome along to the 9 till noon show here in Highland Radio on this Monday, the 22nd of September 2025. It's approaching 4 minutes past 9, just turned. Great to have you on board for another week. And we have a busy show this day for you, of course. But it is after the weekend, so maybe there's something that you want us to talk about. Get in touch with us, 086 60 25,000. And use that number, of course, if you want to comment on some of the stuff we've got lined up for you over the course of the next 3 hours. If you want to give us a phone call, 07491 25000, or your emails come in to us at comments@highlandradio.com. So let's have a look at the front of the newspapers and see what's making the headlines in that space. We'll start with the Derry People Donegal News, and 25,000 people gathered in Dublin at the weekend to take part in a national protest demanding urgent political intervention for the Irish language and the Gaeltacht. This is a protest we discussed on the show on Friday. On Saturday morning, busloads travelled from Donegal's Gaeltacht to the capital with local community groups, teachers, students, musicians, Donegal County councillors and TDs amongst them. Together they marched from Parnell Square to Leinster House, where Donegal took centre stage. The Derry News this morning: new legacy deal leaves a lot of questions to answer. Two men whose loved ones were killed by British soldiers in Belfast and Derry in the early 1970s have said a new legacy agreement will have to answer a lot of questions. Mickey McKinney, whose brother William was among 13 killed in Derry in the Bloody Sunday shooting in 1972, and John Teggart, whose father Danny was among the 10 killed in Ballymurphy in 1971, said they had both fought long and difficult battles for justice. They were speaking outside Belfast Crown Court following day 4 of the trial of a former paratrooper known as Soldier F, who has been charged with 2 counts of murder on Bloody Sunday. On to the Nationals now. We'll start with the Irish Independent, and they have a lot in there, of course, as you can imagine. A lot of presidential stuff, but they're focusing on page 4. Landlords, they're selling up in regional towns after rent pressure zone extension. Now, in fairness, speaking to those in this sector, when these rent pressure zone suggestions were being floated, were saying that, look, it's tough enough being in this space. I'll just sell up, I'll get out. And it seems that's what people are doing. A flood of landlord-led home sales is sweeping across Ireland's regional towns following changes to the rent pressure zone rules. The new trend means that property just taken out of rental are now comprising between 40 and 80% of all homes sold in some locations during the past 3 months. So houses that were former rental properties are making up between 40 and 80% of new homes on the market. But I suppose they do turn into forever homes then, potentially. But it doesn't help with those looking to rent. The new wave of investor sales has come about as a result of the government's announcement in June to extend RPZs across the entire country. The increase is highlighted in the latest Real Estate Alliance Irish Independent Average House Price Index, which follows sale price trends of the staple family home type, the 3-bed semi-detached. The increase in landlords selling up will cause a further decline in the national stock of rentals available. So at the moment, apparently a 3-bed semi in County Donegal is worth €202,000, 500 as well, €202,500. That's up 2.53%. It's the cheapest 3-bed in the country. Leitrim, really quite surprisingly, I think. A 3-bed semi there is €222,000, but we're bottom of the list at 202,000. And then if you head down to Kilkenny, 322,000. Waterford City, 333,000. So depending on where you are in the country, your 3-bed semi-detached is there's a huge difference in their values. The Irish Daily Mail, we're into the last couple of days now as who will actually be able to contest the presidential election. A lot of people seem very keen for Maria Steen to be on the ballot. They see her as maybe an alternative to what's already there. And she is gathering a pace in terms of getting the approval she needs to get on the ballot. She's going down the route whereby you need 20 senators or TDs. That's the option she's chosen. She could be up to 17, 18 by the end of today, which would leave her, just too shy. But reading on, Senator Michael McDowell is emerging as the gatekeeper whose support Maria Steen will need to become a real game changer in the race for the presidency. In the aftermath of Sinn Féin's announcement that it's backing Catherine Connolly, which was the big game changer announcement apparently, Conservative parties and groups supporting Miss Steen are asking Mr McDowell to assist in ensuring that there is a diversity in the field of candidates going forward for election to the Irish next month. Independent Senator and former Attorney General Mr McDowell is perceived to have played the defining role in the coalition's humiliating defeat. And I'll just turn to page 6 here. Their humiliating defeat of the family and care referendum in March last year. It was defeated as people voted against plans to remove specific references to the valued position of mothers in Irish society. So there is a sense that it's 50-50 as to whether she will get over the line, but the sense being that you want, maybe people with coming from different places in politics to make it a proper conversation, if you know what I'm saying. Staying with the presidential election, Jim Gavin, I don't know if you've seen the post being stuck up on social media about Jim Gavin. Some horrendous accusations being made against him, which he's completely rejected, of course. But, of a very personal nature. I wouldn't even read them out, to be honest with you. But he is not happy about it, as none of us would be. Facebook owner Meta has removed a number of posts about Fianna Fáil presidential candidate Jim Gavin for violating its standards. This is the Irish Times, by the way. The tech giant is also understood to be investigating other pieces of content. The removed posts are understood to have been in violation of its community standards. It's expected that any further posts it identifies as being in breach will also be removed. It comes amid disquiet in Fianna Fáil over the proliferation of false information about its candidate on social media platforms. And some of the accusations, which are still up on X, have been related to me as fact. So it is actually really quite a disturbing development for anyone to have to bat that stuff off when you're just trying to focus on becoming president, whether or not you want him to do, or whether you agree or disagree with him. People putting up very salacious fake stuff about you, it's not playing the game properly, is it? Just as the temperatures dip, 11 degrees, potential for some grass frost this week. Perhaps it's good news that the first of this winter's fuel allowance scheme payments are set to start this week. The means assessed payment will be paid for 28 weeks to 410,000 households across the state. It is made at the weekly rate of €33, or if preferred, by way of 2 instalment payments of $462 each. The scheme was recently expanded to allow more households to qualify this year. So from January 2025, the over 70s enhanced qualifying conditions were extended to people aged 66 and over. These enhanced conditions include a person aged over 66 years no longer has to be in receipt of a social protection payment to apply for the fuel allowance. So I'm reading this because it might be useful to some of you listening. Meanwhile, a single person aged 66 or over can have means of €524 per week, while a couple can have means of €1,048 per week. In addition, the amount of capital that is disregarded was increased from 20 to 50,000. So as I say, that might be some good news to people out there. This has been covered widely, but I want to reach as many people as possible in relation to money mules, students becoming money mules. And it's one of those spaces where ignorance is not a defence. And what happens effectively is someone offers you money. They will say for one reason or another that they need you to put some money into your account and then take it out. And as I say, the Gardaí's attitude is that ignorance is not a defence. But we're also at a time where a lot of students are desperate. They're just off to college and rents are high and the cost of food is high and all that kind of stuff. So important just to keep your guard about you, or keep your guard up and keep your wits about you. Almost 9.4 million was laundered through Irish money mule accounts in the 12 months to June 25, while a third of 18 to 24-year-olds say they or someone they know have been approached to take part. Details of the extent to which naive Irish people are being manipulated by international crime gangs were released by the Banking and Payments Federation Ireland's Fraud Smart initiative yesterday. The body said that while the amounts moved through these accounts vary, they typically range between €5,000 and €10,000 per case. Money mules are typically recruited by friends or via unsolicited social media approaches or text messages. These promise payments for allowing the use of the recipient's bank account to move stolen cash, either so it can be physically withdrawn or sent onwards abroad. Now, obviously, when they're pitching this to the student, they're not calling it stolen cash. They come up with some excuse about cards or this, that and done. So, as I say, people, are potentially short on cash and could be high on risk of being exploited there. Lastly, in the Sun, fraudsters, thieves and drug dealers are among the prisoners most likely to be granted temporary release from Irish jails. Irish Prison Service data shows that nearly a quarter of criminals getting early release are serving sentences for controlled drug offences. The figures show on August 1st, a total of 612 people were temporarily free as the prison system grappled with record-breaking levels of overcrowding. Of those on release that day, 149 were in jail for drug crimes, 138 were serving sentences for theft or related offences. There were 51 out on temporary release who were guilty of attempts or threats to murder, assault and harassment. All right, there you go. Just in case you didn't know. 086 60 25,000 is the WhatsApp and text number. That was a run through the papers. We'll be back with more on the 9 till noon show after we take this quick break.
Anything that collects water can be a drowning danger for young children. Drowning can happen silently and in just a small amount of water. Always empty and safely store away buckets, basins and other things that collect water when you're done with them. Visit mychild.ie for advice on pregnancy, baby and toddler health.
The Donegal Cheviot Sheep Breeders Show and Sale will take place on Wednesday 24th of September in Stranraer Mart, including pedigree rams, hogget ewes and ewe lambs. Show at 5pm, sale at 7. That's the Donegal Cheviot Sheep Breeders Sale, Wednesday 24th of September at Stranraer Mart, with over 60 SAS approved rams on offer. This ad is sponsored by Robert Key Power Equipment, now offering 0% finance on all Honda quads.
She's the Queen of Country and Irish, Margot, live in concert. Catch Margot with the Ryan Turner Band Wednesday the 22nd of October at the Mount Errigal Hotel in Letterkenny, with special guests Shinny Cramsey and Damian Davis. Tickets available now at the hotel reception. Call 07491 22 700. Join Margot at the Mount Errigal Hotel October 22nd for an unforgettable evening of music and memories.
Transform your living room with a luxurious, bespoke feature wall from Spratt Fireplaces, Newmills, Letterkenny. Our complete installations include built-in storage, electric fires, floating shelves and stunning finishes in stone, porcelain or marble. Each feature wall is designed and built in-house by our expert carpentry and stone masonry teams. No fuss, just flawless feature walls. Call 074 91 24144 or visit spratfireplaces.ie. Spratt Fireplaces, experts in heating, design and detail.
It's Patrick Feeney here, and I'm looking forward to the Highland Radio Country Music Weekend at the Clanry Hotel in Letterkenny this October the 31st and November the 1st. I'll be on stage along with Michael English, David James, Stacey Breen and Jordan McFadden. It's going to be 2 fantastic nights of music and dancing, but spaces are filling fast, so book now at theclanryhotel.com or highlandradio.com.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is...
The time now is 9:17. Donna Healy-Rae has been criticised for linking autism to a lack of vitamins. He has been criticised, as I mentioned, by saying that. Mr. Healy-Rae... I'm sorry, I've got 4 headlines all criticising him. But anyway, during a debate on a motion from Sinn Féin on special education, Mr. Healy-Rae said, "Minister, it seems to me that autism and many of these complex needs are on the increase. We need to do more to find out what's causing it and if there is a reason." He added, "It seems to me that many more are presenting than in my younger days, and even when I was going to school, it didn't seem to be an issue at all at that time, very few anyway. So I'm wondering, and I've asked this question here before in different debates, is there something causing it? A lack of some vitamins, or what is it? We need to address that part of it as well, ministers, because there could be something causing it." Right. John Joe McGinley is founder of autismdad.ie. John Joe, good morning to you. It is good to have you on the programme, and unfortunately for those watching the stream, the issue with the sound from our video going through is not functioning properly at the moment, but it's something we're working on. Right, John Joe, why is this harmful in your view? Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It started in Australia and it's permeating around the globe, and it's disturbing for parents with children with autism because we know as well is that one of the key aspects of autism is that autism doesn't come alone. There's a thing that we've discussed it before, Greg, called AFRID, which is avoidant food restriction intake syndrome. And what that is, that, and as parents with children with autism will know, that a lot of children with autism have a very restricted diet. It's about bland foods, it's about foods with limited taste. And for all of Healy Ray's talk of it's the lack of vitamins that are causing autism, I'll tell you that most parents with children with autism are providing vitamin supplements to their children because of that restricted diet. It's not a
Yeah, but the problem it is yeah, but it's almost fighting a losing battle because you have these comments here, but then you also have the comments from Donald Trump as well, that are going to sort of, blow this whole conversation wide open. Whether it's accurate or not, sadly, is besides the point nowadays. I don't know why there is this type of focus right now, but when you've got people in our parliament, and of course then the leader of the free world, in inverted commas, throwing stuff out there, some of it's going to stick and it's going to change the conversation. And I just wonder what the motivation for all of this is. Mm. Can I just quote what he said? He said at the Charlie Kirk event, tomorrow we're going to have one of the biggest announcements, really medically, I think, in the history of our country. We're going to be doing it with Bobby and Oz and all of the professionals. I think you're going to find it to be amazing. I think we've found an answer to autism. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, it wouldn't be coming from a couple of politicians. It would be coming from in normal channels. This would be coming through. This would be coming through releases from medical professionals. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. It just. Yeah. Yeah, and it feels like it's going to distract from trying to right some of the wrongs that you talk of there. Okay, we'll watch on with interest. Thanks so much for your insight as always, and we'll check in again because I have a feeling this is going to be like in other areas. There's a shift, and it's not always the right thing either. Thanks so very much indeed. That was John Joe McGinley, founder of autismdad.ie. What do you think? 086 60 25,000. So as we say, we've heard from Danny Healy-Rae. He believes kids aren't getting enough vitamins. And Donald Trump, he and RFK Jr., both of they and Oz, apparently, whoever Oz is, we're going to have one of the biggest announcements, really medically, I think, in the history of our country. We're going to be doing it with Bobby and Oz and all of the professionals. I think you're going to find it to be amazing. I think we found an answer to autism. So it's a incredibly strong, almost bizarre statement, I think it has to be said. Right. Hi, just a bit of a rant here, says a listener. And if I could be kept anonymous, of course. They work in Letterkenny University Hospital and we've confirmed that. I'm currently 35 weeks pregnant with severe sciatica. And I had an appointment today and, of course, no parking. I had to end up parking at the back of St. Connell's to walk over. And with the back pain, you can imagine how long that took. My point is, why in this day and age is there no designated parking for heavily pregnant people, even to be closer to the clinic? It's an absolute joke. And there are other groups of individuals as well that would need better access, older people, etc. So I don't know what's going on there, but there are obviously people that need to have closer access. I'm a concerned parent, says another listener. I dropped my child off at school this morning and the stench of raw sewage was something shocking. All the windows are open in the place to air it. Should our children have to go to school if there's a strong smell like that? Wow, interesting. I'm not sure if there's any harm in the smell, but yeah, blooming hell. You wouldn't want to be sending your kids in, would you? All right, we'll be back with more after a quick break.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook, and at highlandradio.com.
Newspapers are kindly supplied by Cosgrove Centra, Mountaintop Letterkenny. Now with the new look Mountaintop Diner.
If you're aged 59 to 70, we will invite you for a free HSE bowel screening home test. Screening can help find signs of bowel cancer early, before any symptoms show, making it easier to treat.
You know the forecast will say dry, and it'll lash. You know the Lewis will be late. Again. You know that first coffee in the morning? Magic. And now with Energy, you'll know what your bill's going to be before it lands. Our app gives you monthly predictions, daily updates, and shows you where you can save. That's being one step ahead. With Energy, you just know. ROI only, 18 plus, T's and C's apply. See unoenergy.ie.
Energy. Hi, Paddy here at Shane Conley Cars in Donegal Town. Are you looking to upgrade your car? With Shane Conley Cars, you'll find makes and models for every budget. Great finance options, and we also accept trade-ins. Check out shaneconleycars.com or call in to us at Shane Conley Cars from Lonaher Road, Donegal Town.
If you're getting new furniture or it's time for a change, pay a visit to McGinley's Furniture in Letterkenny. There you'll find a selection of suites, beds and bedroom furniture, dining room and occasional furniture. You'll be amazed by the selection and pleasantly surprised by the prices. At McGinley's Furniture, Portlink Business Park, Port Road, Letterkenny, and online at mcginleysfurniture.com.
Sometimes getting older is a good thing. Take a fine cheese. With steady planning, careful preparation and trusted guidance, at every stage of the process, it matures. At Standard Life, we believe in a similar approach when planning for retirement. Because when you do, things get better with age. Search Retirement Hub or talk to your financial advisor today. Standard Life International DAC is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Are you going through intense treatment, alopecia or hair thinning? At the Donegal Wig Centre and Patrick O'Day Hairdressing, we have over 30 years experience helping people feel themselves again. In our private consultation suite, we have the largest selection of beautiful wigs and hairpieces in the Northwest, and we're HSE approved. To arrange your private consultation at the Donegal Wig Centre in Letterkenny, call us today on 91254776.
Don't delay when you get your bowel screening invitation. Call us today on 1-800 45 45 55 or visit bowelscreen.ie. From the HSE.
A caller says you can always tell what side of the political divide someone is on by their stance on autism causation. Left-wingers always defer to the exponentially corrupt medical establishment. Right-wingers always attempt to seek evidence-based causation and do not trust the corrupt medical establishment. But also in the middle of that's the kids, right, and the parents and what have you. So are we politicising absolutely everything at this stage? Right, I'm joined on the programme by Deputy Leader of Sinn Féin, Deputy Pierce Doherty. Good morning to you. I'm doing good. It's great to have you on the programme. Right, last time I spoke to you, you didn't know what you were doing, really. Like, in other words, you were still trying to decide what the party was going to do. I got a sense from you that you had reservations over the party backing Catherine Connolly because you wanted to hear her views on certain matters. Was this the big news? Was this the game changer that Mary McDonald had been flagging? Mm. No, but what does it say though when the leading party in opposition can't come up with its own candidate though? Like, does that not send a message in and of itself? Mm. How close were you to being the candidate? Uh, you know, were you asked whether or not it's something that you wanted to do? Mm. Mm. Well, that's what I was going to say. Is this sort of setting out the stall that shows parties of a like mind can work together? And arguably in the last general election, that really didn't happen in terms of, you know, an awful lot was relying on the public to make up their own minds, you know, which side they wanted to sort of transfer to, etc. So do you think this will see a more organised position come the next general election now? Mm. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, like whether it matters or not, or what the role of the president is or isn't. Someone like Catherine Connolly, very much opposed to the triple lock being done away with and what have you, and maybe the public are naive in thinking that someone from a different political background would hold the government to account or maybe reflect what the views of the public out there are. So on the issue of, say, for instance, if the triple lock is done away with in very simple languages, it comes before Catherine Connolly as president, hypothetically. She has the option to sign it in, or she also has the option, if she believes it to be unconstitutional, to refer that to the Supreme Court. And then obviously the usual trope comes out then, well, if we refer it to the Supreme Court, then it can't be challenged again. And if the Supreme Court say it's constitutional, that's it. And it all gets a bit wishy-washy, and people who are expecting change, right, then end up down the line realising actually it's not really change at all at all. Mm. Okay, well, we shall see. There's different views coming in, as you can imagine, but that's democracy, isn't it? We can have different views. You know, it's fantastic. Let's keep that. All right, Pierce, thanks very much for your time. Look after yourself. Bye-bye. That is Deputy Pierce Doherty again. Interesting comments from him. And apologies again if you're watching on the stream. We are resolving that technical issue. I'm sure Caroline at this moment is ringing Oisin saying, Greg's in bother here, you know. He's on holidays, is he? Okay, we could be in bother. Rightio, anyway, stay tuned. You'll be able to hear much more of the show going forward. It is the 9 till noon show here in Highland Radio. It is Monday. It's the start of a new week. What do you think of the presidential campaign? Are you getting into it a little bit? Do you have someone you're interested in? Is there someone there that you would want to see on the ballot that isn't there? It's all very interesting, in fact. And funny, you know, last Friday, from a pretty decent source, it was flagged that Donegal County Council were going to be meeting tomorrow and that some back channeling had taken place to get a particular candidate potentially over the line if they needed one more council to back them. And then all of a sudden that deal or that conversation kind of fell through and nothing, it seems, is coming from it. So we'll see. All right, then. We'll be back with the weather forecast and more after the break.
Teagasc will hold a tillage meeting in Angrinan Hotel Bird at 8 p.m. on Monday 22nd of September. Speakers are Shay Phelan and Martin Burke, Teagasc crop specialists, and Tommy Delahunt, a tillage grower from County Wicklow. Meeting will cover the challenges and opportunities facing the industry. All welcome.
I had problems with my knees for about 7-8 years. I think I'd give Kingsbridge 5 stars just because of the support and help that they gave me before and after the surgery. I was a public patient and the HSE reimbursed the cost.
Republic of Ireland residents can get rapid access to cross-border surgeries at Kingsbridge private hospitals in Belfast and Derry, with medical costs reimbursed by the HSE. Find out more at kingsbridgeprivatehospital.com/cross-border. Kingsbridge, your fast track to 5-star care. Terms and conditions apply.
Imagine sinking into a perfect comfort every night. At Restex Beds, we believe a better sleep means a better life. Choose from our vast range of quality mattresses and find the one that's perfect for you. Restex Beds, Mountaintop, Letterkenny. Leave the rest to us.
From home and car to farm, commercial and public liability, at Hickey Clark and Langan, they've got you covered for insurance. They shop around all the leading insurers to make sure you get a great deal. If you're looking for a competitive quote, it's easier than you think. Call 91-26688 or call into the office at Ballymacool, Letterkenny. Hickey Clark and Langan, the local name you can trust, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Níl sé éasca gnó a rachtáil, ach bechógamach sé éasca ruchtana áil haceocht. Is é an mil funtar náisiúnta nua an inse éonar de haceocht ile an rialtas do gnó. Le breis agus céadach tú taceocht in éon áit amháin, tá sé níos éasca ná riamh diontas, cóirle, ilehaint agus go leor eile aimsiú. Agus ná bích imníart mar bhfuil iscad cattá weit, tróróí ar bhrin chairachú gach céim den bhealach. Tuair cuairt ar nih.gov.ie chun fólam chunas is féidirlinn cabhra. An mil funtar náisiúnta, tosaíonn an taceocht an seo, tionchluachtachuid rialtas na hÉireann.
Hi, Kiva here from Barry Brown Cars. Right now, you can get behind the wheel of a brand new 252 Suzuki with 0% finance and a 10-year warranty, giving you a whole decade of confidence on the road. Visit Barry Brown Cars in Milford or Donegal Town today and discover how you can drive away with 10 years of worry-free motoring.
Highland Radio weather updates brought to you by McElhenny's. With new season styles arriving daily, discover the latest fashion, footwear and accessories for autumn in store or shop online at mcelhennys.com today.
So, any early mist and fog clearing, a crisp, dry and sunny day for most, though cloudier near northern and western coasts. Further cloud will build during the afternoon, but it'll stay mostly dry, continuing colder than average with highest temperatures 11 to 14 degrees tonight. Temperatures will be 1 to 6 degrees. So it is chilly. It's going to be chilly overnight. The first time we've kind of seen those single digits for quite some time, it would seem. Now, the legacy deal between the British and Irish governments is a night and day improvement on what is currently in place. That's according to the Taoiseach. Simon Harris said he accepted agreement has not been easy, but the new package will provide maximum truth, justice and accountability to victims. The new framework agreed between the British and Irish governments was unveiled on Friday by Harris and Northern Ireland Secretary Hilary Benn. Right, now, so let's get the views of Emmett McConaughey, whose 11-year-old brother Stephen was killed by a soldier in Derry in 1982, because these are the opinions, really, I think, that matter, those that are directly affected by it. Emmett, thank you for joining me this morning.
Morning, Greg. You're welcome.
Right, there's an awful lot in this, isn't it? And it's an awful lot, I think, to expect us to sort of be able to figure out precisely what it might mean in certain cases, and searches for truth and justice, etc. But what's your interpretation of what's been announced, Emmett?
I think first and foremost we need time to digest what has been announced. On the face of it, we give it a cautious welcome. That being said, what legislation comes through, we would need to see the detail of that, because let's be honest, the British government has made more than enough promises that it's failed to keep over the years when it's come to legacy. So we cautiously welcome it, but we need to see the detail that's in the legislation. Now, there is some concerns there. There's the automatic concern that directly would affect me and my family is that the special measures that they're proposing to put in to protect ex-servicemen, the ex-army. So those are concerning for me. But I think on the face of it, I would give it a cautious welcome. The fact that the Irish government is going to have some oversight to it is definitely a benefit for victims. But let's see how it pans out. Let's see how quickly the British government and Irish government can move on this. And let's see the detail that's in this legislation, that it is victim-centred, and the needs of victims are first and foremost and should be to the front and centre of all the legislation that they pass.
You talked about, well, firstly and foremost, the Legacy Act, the Legacy Bill, that was terrible. So if that was our starting position, this obviously is a dramatic improvement, I'd imagine.
Well, we did take a massive step back when the British government tried to impose that on victims here in the north. But you've seen from the backlash from everyone, all the political parties and all the victims groups were absolutely united in this bill of shame that they tried to push on top of us. Victims won't roll over, whether that be for the British government or indeed the Irish government. We definitely will not roll over. We have spent upwards of 50 years campaigning relentlessly to get the answers that we need and deserve. So, no, regardless of what legislation the British government or Irish government push through, it needs to meet the needs of all the victims.
You talked about the need for proper buy-in from victims. What did you mean by that, if you feel you haven't already touched on that specifically?
Well, we touched on the Legacy Bill previous, and you could see that the trust was eroded. Whatever little trust there ever was between victims and the British government, it definitely was eroded. So I think now the British government and Irish government have to go a long way to gain the trust for victims to engage with any of the services and the legislation that they put through. Because let's be honest, when the previous Legacy Bill was pushed upon us, it was clear that it was being driven to protect the needs of soldiers. It was not there to meet the needs of victims. So trust has been eroded. When we look at the ICIR that was set up, it's staffed, and the head of that is an ex-RUC man. So let's be honest, we are never going to engage with a body that even the optics look wrong. But when you can see that you can't have people who are so invested in the past reinvestigating the past, and we've got to question their impartiality, whether they be ex-RUC men or not.
Yeah. Okay, Emmett, listen, we watch on. Thank you very much indeed for your time. I do appreciate it.
Take care.
Take care,
Have a
Emmett.
good day.
Good luck to you. You too. Emmett McConaughey there. Now, some of your comments coming in as we head towards the news and obituary notices. As a Sinn Féin supporter, I will not be campaigning for Catherine Connolly. I'm disappointed they took so long to make a decision. We are a party of our own right, and whether we lost the election, we should have stood in our own right as the largest party of opposition. Catherine Connolly stood her own ground. She didn't wait on anyone to support her. Why didn't Sinn Féin field a candidate and ask the others to join them? Well, she was out there early. who would that candidate be? I don't know. It's a toughie. But you heard from Pierce Doherty. I put that question that you've just asked to him, so you're either satisfied or not, I suppose, with his answers. Come on, Greg. It's unprecedented that so many parties will get behind one presidential candidate. Don't let Pierce, says the listener. Yeah, it is. I just thought, hinting that the person would have good Irish and that this would be a game changer, that for me, from what Sinn Féin was saying, Marilyn McDonald was saying, was pointing in a different direction, but here we are. Don't let Pierce away with Connolly not going with neutrality, says the listener. Another, the president's job is basically a concierge, as you are a meet and greet. You have no power. Pierce has listed all the problems that Sinn Féin are going to fix. What money is going to fix this? Well, they, in fairness, like all parties, they have it budgeted. Whether you agree or disagree, of course, is a different conversation. We constantly ask why so many young people are leaving this country, says a listener. There's simply too much cronyism and nepotism. Just look at the struggle independent individuals have in trying to stand for election, an opportunity which should be denied to no citizen of this country. More comments. Nice and busy for a Monday morning, by the way. Greatly appreciated. People have lost faith and trust in the health service and medical science in general because these can be influenced by government who are influenced by large pharmaceutical companies. This is what's happening when money and greed takes over. But there's a bathwater and baby situation here, and there's people who are, quite rightly very skeptical about health and medicine to begin with for lots of reasons. They could have a querying mind, or it could be born of a life experience. So there are people that are ripe for someone like Donald Trump to come out and say things that might not necessarily be medically sound. And we might have Donald Trump say this, that, and then medical professionals come out and say another thing, and people are trying to discredit the medical professionals because, of course, you're working with Big Pharma, and the other guy's going to clean the swamp and all that kind of stuff. I just hope there's no lives lost in that mix. Medicine being a political conversation, maybe it has to be, but I'd have my concerns. Anyway, we shall see. Stay with us. Back with more after the news and obituary notices.
Hi folks, Paul McDevitt here, inviting you to join myself and Jimmy Stafford this Monday night for another edition of the Monday Night Sessions. On the show this week we welcome Ballyshannon singer-songwriter Rianne Macaulay. Also dropping by our Donegal, now based in Florida band, the brilliant Byrne Brothers. And we also have a lovely story about a Derry singer-songwriter Paddy Morrison, who recorded an album 50 years ago and is only releasing it now. So that's the Monday Night Sessions this Monday night between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. As always, right here on Highland Radio.
Pandora's 3 for 2 promotion is now on, with exclusive early access for Pandora Club members. Buy 2 pieces at full price and get the third one free. Show someone special that you're thinking of them, or treat yourself. Sign up to Pandora Club today. Offer ends 28th of September. Available in participating stores and at pandora.net while stocks last. Terms and exclusions apply.
Hey Sean, let's have a kickabout.
So Grace, let's go bowling.
Right Jack, let's get that pizza.
And what about you? Yeah, you. Have you got an hour a week to spare? Big Brother, Big Sister volunteers around Ireland are supporting young people simply by hanging out, doing normal things and being a friend. It's that simple. Is this something you could do too? If you've been looking for more purpose in your week, find out more about volunteering at bigbrotherBigSister.ie. Come on, you'll be great. Proudly supported by Toyota.
With TUI, there's more choice than you think. Beach days or a city break. Weekend in Rome? Booked. Fly from your local airport? Of course. Just a hotel? Got them too. Number of nights? Take your pick. Tailor your trip with more options and more choice. TUI. Live happy.
The Donegal Cheviot Sheep Breeders Show and Sale will take place on Wednesday 24th of September in Stranraer Mart, including pedigree rams, hogget ewes and ewe lambs. Show at 5 p.m, sale at 7. That's the Donegal Cheviot Sheep Breeders Sale, Wednesday 24th of September at Stranraer Mart, with over 60 SAS approved rams on offer. This ad is sponsored by Robert Key Power Equipment, now offering 0% finance on all Honda quads.
McGowan Hearing, one of the longest established audiologists in the Northwest, now have weekly clinics in Letterkenny, Buncrana and Carndonagh. Book your free hearing aid consultation at one of these clinics, or with audiologist Darren McGowan in your own home. Call 07191 00208 or visit mcgowanhearing.com.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, it's 10 o'clock. Donald Kavanagh at the news desk. The Deputy Leader of Sinn Féin says he does believe the party's decision to back Catherine Connolly in next month's presidential election is a game changer and presents a clear alternative to Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael coming from a united left. On today's 9 till noon show, Donegal today, Pierce Doherty acknowledged that his name was in the mix as a potential candidate, but said his belief and that of the party leadership and most people that make contact with them is that he has more to contribute as a member of the Dáil. Well, two independents will today continue their efforts to secure sufficient support to enter the presidential race. Maria Steen is looking to win the support of 20 TDs and senators. She currently has the backing of 13. Garth Sheridan is aiming to get the backing of 2 more local authorities to add to the 2 he already has. Political correspondent with the Irish Times, Harry McGee, says the 2 government parties are making it difficult for other hopefuls to get the support they need. A motion to progress the A5 will be heard in the Northern Ireland Assembly this afternoon. West Tyrone MLA Nicola Brogan says her party remains committed to seeing the project through. The murder of Donegal soldier Sean Rooney is to be discussed at the UN General Assembly. The Donegal native was shot dead while on a UNIFIL peacekeeping mission in Lebanon in 2022. Taoiseach Micheál Martin is to meet the Lebanese president to discuss the need for justice for Private Rooney, as well as the current state of Palestine. An independent investigation has found no evidence that Damien McCrory, a Strabane man killed by the Provisional IRA, was an informer. That's according to a report in the Irish News based on findings from Operation Canova. Mr McCrory was abducted, interrogated and killed by the IRA on October 7th, 1985. With more, here's Donna Marie Doherty. There will be a greater emphasis on language skills, STEM subjects and personal well-being in the updated primary schools curriculum, which is being revealed today. It's the first time the curriculum has changed in 26 years. From the 2026-27 school year, schools can avail of focused support in one curriculum area each year, but the well-being specification must be one of the first 3 areas selected. Education Minister Helen McEntee says modern languages will be one of the more noticeable updates. Weather forecast: any early mist and fog will clear, leaving crisp, dry and sunny start for the day. Cloudier in coastal areas. Further cloud will build in the afternoon, but it will stay mostly dry. Continuing colder than average, with highest temperatures today 11 to 14 degrees Celsius in light northwesterly winds. And that's Highland Radio News. We're back with news again at 11 o'clock. You can check all the latest news on our website, highlandradio.com. But for now, from the news team, good morning.
The obituary notices this Monday morning, September 22nd. The death has taken place of Father Noel Breslin, Birmingham, and formerly of Castle Doherty, Ardra. A memorial mass will be held in the Church of the Holy Family, Ardra, this Wednesday evening at 7:30. Funeral arrangements later. The death has taken place of George Moore, Swilly View, Ballymaleel, Letterkenny. George's remains will repose at his late residence today from 12 noon until 10 p.m. Funeral from there tomorrow at 1:15, going to Conwell Parish Church, Church Lane, Letterkenny, for 2 o'clock funeral service of Thanksgiving. Interment afterward to Gortley Cemetery, Letterkenny. Family time on the morning of the funeral, please. Immediate family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu of flowers, if desired, to Medical Aid Ward and Palliative Care, Letterkenny University Hospital, care of any family member. The death has taken place of Bonnie Day O'Donnell, Ballyhillion, Mallinhead. Bonnie's remains are reposing at the home of James Joseph Doherty, the Guy, Ballyhillion, Malin. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 10:20. For 11 a.m, Requiem Mass in Star of the Sea Church, Mallinhead, followed by cremation in Lakelands Crematorium, Cavan. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu, if desired, to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member or Eamon McLaughlin, funeral director. The death has occurred of Seamus Doherty, Kennedary, Welchtown, Ballybuffet. Funeral leaving his residence tomorrow morning at 10:30 for Requiem Mass in the Church of Our Lady of Perpetual Succor, Glenfin, at 11 a.m. Interment afterwards in Kiltyvogue Cemetery. Requiem Mass can be viewed live on the parish webcam. Family time from 10 p.m. until 11 a.m. and on the morning of the funeral, please. The death has taken place of Brother Danny McFadden, late of Dunleary, County Dublin, and formerly of Ballybose, Filcara, County Donegal, reposing in Quinns of Glasthul today from 4 p.m. until 6 p.m. Removal tomorrow morning to St Joseph's Church, Glasthul, arriving for 10 a.m. funeral mass, which can be viewed on churchservices.tv, followed by burial in Dean's Grange Cemetery. The death has taken place of Tess White, the cottage, Upper Anna, Clonmany, reposing at her daughter Anna and Peter Tim's residence, the Gables, Letcher, Urris. Removal from there this afternoon at 12 p.m, going to Lakelands Crematorium, Cavan, for 4 p.m. cremation. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu, if desired, to the Nazareth House Fawn, care of any family member or Blaine McCarn, Kelly's funeral directors. The death has occurred of Jim Key, Avelty Gort, Crossroads, Killygordon, reposing at his late residence. Funeral leaving there today at 1:30 for service of Thanksgiving in St Anne's Parish Church, Manellan Crossroads, at 2 p.m. Interment afterwards in the adjoining churchyard. The house is private to family and close friends, please, at the request of the deceased. For family information and more details regarding wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
Fancy fish tacos tonight? You'll catch some amazing prices at Aldi, that's for sure. The finest Irish breaded haddock goujons are just $2.99. Sour cream at just 89¢. Mixed chilies only 49¢. And 8 mini white tortilla wraps are just 85¢. That's an evening treat at amazing Aldi value, all wrapped up. Good food, good mood from Aldi, while stocks last.
Welcome back to the 9 till noon show. Good morning. Thank you so much for choosing us today. Let us catch up on some of your comments before we move on to our next item. People have lost faith and faith. I've read that, haven't I? Yes. Hi, Greg. Sinn Féin have just shown their weak-kissed hand so far by not being able to pick a candidate from within their own party. According to Councillor McGill on Friday, who declared himself as a communist and enjoyed electoral support from Catherine Connolly, this places Sinn Féin within the communist camp. I certainly won't be voting for her or Sinn Féin in the future. Sinn failure, more like. I get where you're coming from, but the spectrums in politics and people from in the same sort of left space can back the same candidate without automatically them all being the same. Greg, I'm absolutely devastated to see the photos of the dogs locked in cages and they're all in horrendous state. How in under a God can this be happening on our doorstep in this day and age? What I would give to be in charge to deal with these people, hope they get the highest penalty for what they have done to these poor wee innocent dogs. Thanks, Greg. That comes in from Anne Marine over the weekend. It actually was on Friday. Excuse me. On Friday, the Gardaí seized 14 dogs. We were hoping to cover that this morning, but the ISPCA says it's an ongoing investigation and they can't just at this time. Not once has Pierce mentioned immigration, one of the top problems in this country. What rock is he under? Any presidential candidates for sending more this way won't be getting my vote. Halal food being put in schools, Irish schools and all big stores too. Sinn Féin should be standing up for the Irish. No point in United Ireland when it's going the way it is. Well, Pierce spoke in the Dáil on immigration on Friday, so well worth keeping an ear to that. The role of president, really, you know, the more you talk to people about it, the less significant it is really in that space. But I get you. Greg, no one, no matter how fitting they may appear, will fill Michael D's shoes. That comes in from Mary. Indeed, but Michael D was well respected. He was a Labour man. You know, he had to go out and campaign and try and get over the line, and he did. So I would give, you know, whomever is coming in the opportunity maybe to do the same. Very disappointing for Sinn Féin supporters that the party couldn't agree to put a candidate forward for president as the main opposition party. No, Greg, ask him the question you put to Colm. How can they back Connolly on neutrality? Well, I did put the same question to him. Can Pierce give me at least 2 good reasons to vote Catherine Connolly? As of now, I cannot vote for any of the 3. Why isn't Pierce speaking about the mockery of democracy by not giving a platform for other independent candidates? Pierce, your actions speak louder than your hollow words. Well, there could be independent candidates on the ballot paper yet. So Feds confirmed the Kirk shooter wasn't of the left, despite what Patel, perjured FBI director, or Trump, 32-count felon, have said, and yet they continue to call violence on the left over it. Yeah, it's a complex matter there. You want to keep both sides in this, Greg, or are you ready to admit only one side has a problem with violence? Only one side in the US has a problem. Only one side in the UK has a problem. Only one side here has a problem, and it's all the right. There hasn't been left-wing violence since the noughties. It's been Christian nationalists and Islam fundamentalists this entire time. Maybe we should be looking at the churches. That's more opinions on that. These are some comments coming over from Friday. Does Ireland really need a president, considering we're being told what to do by Europe? It's not in France, like in France, where the president has a significant role. It's not insignificant, the role, but in terms of whether a president would tell us what to do in this country or not, they simply don't do that. But I take your point, of course. It's now 9:15 a.m. and since 9 a.m. I've called my local GP 45 times with no answer. It's saying line busy, or it answers and goes through a list of please hold. After it gives a list of its services, it then cuts off. I wouldn't like to be having a stroke this morning with this service. It's probably not a good time to ring any GP on any day just when they're opening, even after lunchtime for that matter, because we're a population of 160,000 people, 170,000 people. And a lot of them are going to be doing exactly what you're doing. You're not the only person trying to get through. And I don't think, most GPs, after being closed overnight or over the weekend, all of them are going to have a bit of a rush, aren't they, on Monday? Caroline, do you want to put that person through? This election shows how undemocratic the Irish election of president is. If there is no anti-abortion candidate elected, when more than a third of Ireland oppose this legal form of murder or bodily rights, depending upon your viewpoint. Okay, I mean, I think what you're saying, not elected, but entitled to stand, I think is what you're saying there. The political parties choose who runs for this so-called non-party political role. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. A little bit of irony there. Rightio, Geraldine Doherty, Imagine Why. Good morning to you. How are you keeping?
Good morning, Greg. Good.
Congratulations! You've €800 in your back pocket. You won the daily prize, which had rolled over a bit on Friday's bingo. Congratulations!
Great. Thanks very much.
Very good. And this was actually a gift. You didn't buy the book.
No, I didn't. No.
So
I went out for breakfast in the morning, and then my friend was going on to buy herself a book, and she bought me one as well. and she gave me the lucky one.
How does this work now? What do you do with the winnings? Can you keep it all to yourself, or do you just buy her a box of chocolates, or what?
I might buy her something.
Come here, it came as a good time too, because you've a wee trip to America coming up later in the year, so plenty of spending money for the Christmas gifts then.
Yeah, I'm going out now in November.
Oh, brilliant. Congratulations. Well, €1,800 and supporting, although it was your friend, supporting Vision Ireland as well. Well done to you.
Thanks very much.
All right, okay. You're going to play going forward now? You're going to be buying your own books going forward, Geraldine?
Oh, yeah. I'll buy her one back now, too.
Good woman. Hey, congratulations. Well done to you.
All right,
bye-bye. That's Geraldine Doherty there, who won €1,800 and that's not the jackpot, by the way. That's the daily prize. And the daily prize, I could do with this information, but it's £400 again today, isn't it now? It starts at £400 again today, which is the daily prize. And then if it's not won today, another 200, and on it goes. So it's not just the big jackpot that's useful. Obviously, the daily prizes can be pretty good as well. €1,800. The jackpot's 9,800, but just the structure of the daily prize and the rollover, just that kind of info would be good for me to share. I know what it is, but I'm afraid of misspeaking. Well done, Geraldine, and well done to all of you playing the bingo. And by the way, just to remind you, it's not like a club or something. You can go into pretty much most retail stores around the Northwest and you'll see the bingo books there. You can pick it up, mark it off, see how you get on. You could be winning big. £1,800 could be yours, the £400 daily prize or whatever it might roll over to, and of course the jackpot then over £9,000 on Thursday. And all the while you are supporting Vision Ireland, and it's one of the biggest supporters, the Radio Bingo. It's one of the biggest supporters of Vision Ireland in continuing to do the excellent work that they do, not just across the country, but of course specifically here in County Donegal. Here's the numbers, by the way, to see how you get on today.
It's time for Vision Ireland Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Monday, September 22nd. Playing on a green sheet. Reference number is S11. It's week 39. Today's numbers are 78, 11, 33, 16, 40, 64, 25, 62, 60, and 81. Phone your claim to 9104833 before midnight tonight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your Vision Ireland Bingo information at highlandradio.com.
When the time comes, the last thing you want is for your family to worry about funeral costs. That's why On Post Insurance offers funeral insurance for those aged 50 to 75. A simple way to help ease the burden for the people you care about most. Take a moment today to plan ahead. Call 0818 22 22 22 or visit onpostinsurance.ie. Acceptance criteria, terms and conditions apply. One Direct Ireland Limited, trading as On Post Insurance, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. One Direct Ireland Limited is a wholly owned subsidiary of On Post. Funeral insurance is underwritten and provided by New Ireland Assurance Company plc. On Post Insurance is a tied agent of New Ireland Assurance Company plc for life assurance business.
The Chadwicks Autumn Sale is now on across all branches nationwide. Myra SE Elite 9.8 kilowatt shower, only €275. 8 kilowatt Waterford Stanley freestanding stove, great value at €699. DeWalt brushless drill twin pack with 2 batteries, now an incredible €499. Visit your local branch or shop online for more savings at chadwicks.ie. Chadwicks.
Let's get it done!
In Ireland, it can be hard to get enough vitamin D from the sun. But did you know that 90% of us also don't get enough vitamin D from the food we eat? Avonmore Supermilk is packed with goodness and fortified with vitamin D, which helps absorb calcium for healthy bones, so you can be at your best. We can't make the sun shine, but we can help you shine. Avonmore Supermilk, a super source of calcium and vitamin D. Figures based on 2023 FSAI report.
Now, you're very welcome back to the programme. We're joined on it now by Brian Mooney, guidance counsellor and Irish Times education columnist. Good morning, Brian. Great to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us. Right after what it seems like months and years of conversation, we've arrived at something that comes around every quarter of a century, and that's a new primary school curriculum. So talk to me as you see the headlines of this, Brian. I mean, obviously, people are going to try and pick flaws in this, as you could not pick flaws in it, but actually sort of debate the merits of it. One of them being that, increased emphasis on physical education, but then again, you have gaps from school to school potentially whereby they don't have the facilities for it, etc. Mm.
Was higher level maths, but ultimately the pressure of that brings it about in a sense. So I think it is right that we go ahead and we set these targets and then we try and ensure that every child has access to them.
Consent is an interesting. Now, it's not going to be specific to sexual consent, but the conversation of consent, which is perhaps no harm, is it? In terms of fifth and sixth classes being taught about different sexual orientations, this isn't genders or the conversation about genders, is it? This is maybe, heterosexuality, homosexuality, bisexuality. Mm. Religion, there is still obviously scope for that, but we scenarios have been put out there that you might have a teacher who themselves is not of the religion they're teaching or doesn't have an interest in teaching religion, and it could be to a class of children, not necessarily who are Christian, but also to maybe from non-practicing families. What do you see? Do you see enough change in that space, or not enough, or too much? Mm-hmm. Mm. What's your views on introducing a foreign language to students as well? Is fifth class too late or true? Mm. Yeah. Yeah, and also give them an opportunity to maybe almost sample what a new language might be like and have more of an interest into secondary. I remember a conversation with my middle one, and he was saying, "Shall I do Spanish or French?" And I was like, "Well, which are you interested in?" He says, "Well, I don't know, but I need to do." You know what I mean? It was a silly conversation because like he was, and I mean I know you can switch, but he had no. It was anyway. Hopefully that will allow. Children and their families to sort of have a clearer sense of what you want to do heading into big school in inverted commas. A caller says, "What a yeah." Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. We'll watch on with interest. Thank you very much, Brian. Lovely to chat to you. Look after yourself. Bye bye. Take care. That's Brian Mooney there, who is guidance counsellor and Irish Times education columnist. Again, apologies for those watching the stream. Bear with me. We are looking to resolve that issue. It's just a particular issue we're having at the moment, but the majority listening out there will have heard Brian loud and clear. A caller believes home economics is a much more important subject for boys and girls, and it should be made mandatory because it teaches basic survival skills in cooking and in finance. Yeah, I can't disagree there. That person saying the shooter wasn't a leftist ideologist obviously missed the police report on him, as his mother stated clearly to them that her son became absorbed in leftist thinking. Like, someone was dead and someone's responsible for it, and it's astonishing the political argument to give him to one side or other, or to claim him or what have you, or not claim him. He was of a MAGA family, and that's not an insult, that's the terminology that's used, but he was a non-aligned registered voter. He said himself, and in the conversations that he had, he was becoming more frustrated with conservatism. He was living with someone, had a romantic relationship with a biological male who was transitioning to female. He spent a lot of time in Discord servers chatting to people who would be of the left, so to speak. And he says that Charlie Kirk was spreading hate, and he had an opportunity to stop that. So whether that's left, right, down the middle, whatever, but those are the facts. But violence, whether it's from the left, right, middle, or wherever it's from, we need to be able to converse and have a conversation without horrible insults, ruining people's reputations, killing people. We need to get back to just having a, social discourse. All right, we'll be back with more after the break.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook, and at highlandradio.com.
If you're aged 59 to 70, we will invite you for a free HSE bowel screening home test. Screening can help find signs of bowel cancer early, before any symptoms show, making it easier to treat.
Experience a magical night of traditional Irish folk with Trasna, Ger O'Donnell and Trevor Sexton, masters of guitar, flute, banjo, whistle, double bass and more. Saturday, 18th of October at Anchurch Hotel, Gidor. Tickets €25. Accommodation packages available. Book at anchurchhotel.com or hotel reception.
Foy's biggest ever end of summer sale is now on, so don't miss out. Whether it's a statement sofa or a full dining room set, our expert team will help you choose the perfect pieces. Order now during the sale at Foy's in Ballybuffet or Letterkenny to guarantee Christmas delivery. This way. While you're here, we know we've a lot to get through. Searching for low prices shouldn't be one of them. That's why Screwfix check prices daily on over 1,000 essentials and basics. Screwfix, low price, checked.
The Super Value French wine sale is now on, with Claude Violade Malbec from the Languedoc region just €8, Remy Ferbra Vaquera from the Rhone Valley €10, and André Guachot Chablis from Burgundy only €15. Exceptional value in-store and online. Santé, Super Value, real savings, real difference. Please drink responsibly.
Welcome to Cherrymore Kitchens and Bedrooms in Donegal Town. Discover affordable luxury with our bespoke fitted furniture solutions. With almost 30 years of serving Ireland and the Northwest, we're your trusted experts. Visit us Monday to Friday 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. and on Saturdays from 9 a.m. until 3:30 p.m. Book your free consultation today on 074 9725822 or visit cherrymore.ie. Cherrymore Kitchens and Bedrooms, where affordability and luxury combine.
Don't delay when you get your bowel screening invitation. Call us today on 1-800 45 45 55 or visit bowelscreen.ie. From the HSE.
Okay, we are joined on the programme by Jimmy Stafford, who of course is of this parish, as they say in other radio shows, but also is Letterkenny Chamber President. Jimmy, good morning to you. Thanks
morning,
so much
Greg.
for joining us. How are you keeping?
Oh, great, yeah. Monday morning, great.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Moeen, you are. I see a few people not wanting to be here, but anyway, that's all. Come here, 60 years, the Letterkenny Chamber. It's on its 60th year. It's a remarkable milestone, isn't it?
Yeah, unbelievable, Greg. When you think last year we were planning the 60 and what we do, so I suppose we did a number of things. We had a pitcher call a few months ago, and we got all our members into a football pitch, and we got to 60. But I suppose last Thursday night really was the big night where we invited all our members and past presidents and board members to Castle Grove House just to mark the 60 years. And I suppose, Greg, for me, it was great just to talk through, because on the night itself there was paper cuttings there from 1965, 1970, 1980, and if you look at the headlines then versus now, there wasn't much difference. But I suppose what it was a lot of our past presidents came as well, Greg, who had served from those early days right up to recently, and just to see, I suppose, to chat to some of them men and women who had served in the presidency on a voluntary basis. And it was that was one of the highlights for me last Thursday night, was to see the pride in their faces as well,
Looking at those old clippings, what do you think the differences are, if any, and none is fine too, with what the Chamber is at now, what it's trying to achieve compared to, the vision of the founders of the Chamber well over half a century ago?
Yeah, it's a good question, Greg, because when I looked at the 1970 and 1960, right, you looked at the market town that Letterkenny was, and I read up the history of it all back in the 60s and the 50s, and how it transformed then into the 70s and becoming a one of the largest towns in Donegal, and then into the point of where you got into industry coming into Letterkenny. And obviously there was job losses during those decades as well, and new jobs come in. But it was interesting. One of the things I said was that at our monthly board meetings, we're still discussing what was discussed in 1965, which was traffic and parking. And there was a headline on the Donegal News of that back in 65 around some parking issues around Letterkenny Main Street and stuff like that. So probably that bit is, we're still talking about a lot of that stuff that was there back in the 60s and 70s. I suppose what's changed now is, if you look at it from a town perspective, it's grown into a little mini city, really, Greg, as you know, which little mini cities bring their own issues and challenges, but also, I suppose, opportunities. And I think that's the beauty of what we talk about Donegal. And I suppose the Chamber has grown as well, Greg, that we have a lot of members now outside Letterkenny, down towards the Killybegs and into West Donegal and Gweedore and that sort of stuff. So look, there's been lots of change, but a lot of things have, I think the one thing about Letterkenny is the character has still stayed the same. And that's a big thing. And so the individuals who join our board and our presidents and vice presidents as well.
Yeah, and what history has shown as well is the resilience of businesses in and around Letterkenny. If you think, the times that we've come through, the peaks, the troughs, the deep troughs, and then and a lot of businesses have been able to ride that out. Others obviously have fallen by the wayside. Others have come into an existence, but the ever present there is the Chamber.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I said, what I admire about Donegal, and I said this as speaking as a Cork man, is the resilience of the people up here is incredible, and you look at whether you operate a business out in Arranmore Island or in Tory or wherever down in Downings or right across South Donegal, it's the resilience of people, Greg, to bounce back. And,
we have to be resilient up here.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that is a testament to just the people, Greg. You look at some of the business ideas and look at the larger employers that have come here as well, and they've come for a reason. They've come because of what Donegal is. And I think even this weekend I was around driving down towards Rathmullen and Ramelton and stuff, and it's great to see a lot of tourism is still around. So it's just become this destination for people as well. And so we talk sometimes about business, and we talk about the bigger ones, the multinationals, but also about the smaller, the one-person operation or the three-person operation who have taken that risk to set up home here in Donegal.
Well, the small and mediums are often, we need to realise the importance of them. And I don't mean me and you, I mean generally speaking, because they are the resilient ones often. They're the ones that, stick about when, tariffs come in or there's political downturns or whatever it might be. So yeah, definitely need to keep supporting.
They're the ones that have taken. Look, Greg, it's Monday morning. You're going into your business this morning. You're a 1 or 2 person operation, and you're trying to motivate yourself as well every day. And and I think a lot of those employers are the ones that make up the employee numbers, if you like, that employ the vast majority of the people.
Yep. Sorry, just trying to count faders here while I'm listening to you. The thing that we have is we know what the story is. Letterkenny, to some extent, in the county, is a victim of its own success. But it's only that because, you talked about the establishment city-states. You look at what's happened in Sligo, for an example, it being bypassed and stuff like that there. And, you know, we can sound like cracked records here, talking about the 10T and talking about the Bonaghy link and talking about this, that and Don. And I think there is a sense that, you know, we've been overlooked as a county, but also Letterkenny as the biggest population centre in terms of, you know, the infrastructural development to meet those growths. And then we're left picking up the pieces, right? So do we talk about how bad the traffic is or do we not?
Yeah.
Do we talk about how, you know, there's this problem or do we not? Because, you know, you want to keep a positive spin on it, right?
Yeah.
But the reason it's the victim of its own success at times is because really the planning hasn't followed the growth. Or led the growth.
I think that's, and Greg, you know, we're constantly, and I think do we talk about it or not? Yes, we do. And I think that's a really important thing because we do continue, like we have our bi-monthly meetings with the council. We continue to raise those issues. Myself and Tony and Caroline Sweeney, we're in Dublin on Wednesday for the pre-budget submission with Chambers Ireland. And we put that all in. And people listen to me say, oh, you're saying it again and again and again. But that's what you got to do. You got to keep saying it, Greg. And it's like antisocial behaviour in any part. You keep discussions ongoing with the Gardaí. You keep highlighting what the concerns of our members are, what the concerns of the community are. I think you have to keep at that. And I know sometimes you can sound like a broken record or a stuck record, but just keep engaging with the. And that's frustrating at times. It's frustrating for the Chamber, it's frustrating for others, but I think you just got to keep banging on that door. And that's what other counties do as well. And myself and Joe were talking outside about another county, won't name it, but that's keep knocking on that door and keep shouting about it and highlighting what a great place this is and what a great opportunity.
Shop LK has been massive.
Yeah, I suppose that's one of the key highlights for the Chamber. When you look at the people who had the foresight to bring that back in many years ago, and originally it was a paper scheme and then developed into the card scheme, and now you can buy it online. In 2024, Greg, you know, over 7 million worth of card sales alone. And if you think of a card sale, I always look at this, say you've got a €20 gift card and you go into a shop anywhere and you spend that. Research has shown that most people will add some money to that card. Some research has shown that people might add €3 extra. So a €20 might turn into a €80 spend in the shop.
Of course, yeah.
And that gift card scheme has been copied throughout Ireland as well. And if you look at this year alone, I think you have the figures there. But I mean, the amount of cards that we've sold this year, 26,000.
In the last financial year, 2024, Shop LK gift card sales reached 7.2 million, generating an estimated 20 million in local spending. And it keeps the money in the area as well. Is it because of sort of gifting and tax benefits as well? Has that helped? As well, of course, it being some of us aren't great at buying gifts, right? So obviously that's a benefit as well. But is it because, you know, you can gift up a certain amount and businesses are able to give bonuses through the cards?
Yeah, the
and
tax
stuff
exemption
like that?
has been a huge plus for it. There's no doubt that's up to 1,500. So a lot of businesses would use that. And again, aligned with that, and it's the €20 or the 30 or for the birthday present or the, you know, as you said, it's an easy way out. But again, you're looking over 200 odd plus businesses and growing who are involved in the Shop LK scheme. So your variety, your choice is huge as well, that you can spend it. And look, again, Greg, we would see the spend on the vouchers. Like some people get a voucher and they let it down somewhere. We can see the vouchers are being used and being spent. I mean, there was 134,000 in-store transactions year to date in 2025. That just shows you the amount of interaction. It's great. Look, it's and I suppose the way I look at it as well, Greg, people are working in shops in Letterkenny who are living outside of Letterkenny, who are coming in, travelling in every morning. So it's providing that employment as well, which is really, really strong. So well done to all the founders.
You referenced the growing membership. Has the conversation been had, or might it need to be had into the future about the rebranding of it? You knew what was coming. I can see the smile on your face, right? But I mean, obviously, then you've got business representative groups in different parts of the county that are doing really, really well. Do you need to look at the branding of Letterkenny Chamber?
Well, I wouldn't say the branding. I think the discussion.
I mean, quite literally the words. Sorry, when I'm talking about the branding.
I think Letterkenny will always stay there anyway. Is the first thing I'd say. But there certainly is a discussion. It has started.
Letterkenny and County Chamber.
Could be something like that. Yeah, we'll probably have a workshop to discuss that. But it's there is look at a board level. There's been discussions, and we will be having more about that into 2026 as well. Because as I said to you, we have members now further afield, and a lot of them, when we ask the question, why are they joining the chamber? One of the reasons they say is from a lobbying perspective. It's one voice that we are now able to talk.
And it's a powerful lobby. In fairness, you know, when you have your breakfasts and what have you, you know.
And that we can go and represent not just Letterkenny. I think that's the really important thing that I always say. We're representing the people of Donegal and the infrastructural challenges we have and the opportunities we have as well. So that's one of the things. So to answer your question, yes, the discussion has started. I think it's going to be a detailed discussion. It would need a lot of people involved in it, but I think there's a great opportunity there as well from a Donegal perspective, if that makes sense. So it's a
in the space of lobbying, like, you know, I mean, obviously a program like this, and we don't get to platform with a lot of frustration about moving around Letterkenny, getting into Letterkenny, issues of, and in fairness, you have spoken about this, some people in certain parts at certain times not feeling safe in Letterkenny. Is it difficult for the Chamber to find its voice in that space? Because obviously you have to recognise issues where they exist, but at the same time, you know, you start addressing them, you could find yourself actually keeping people out of Letterkenny at the same time, right? So when you're representing businesses, is it tough to sort of, you know, address the issues but not try and sort of make the fallout from them worse, i.e. less footfall, less road traffic?
Yeah, it can be, Greg, at times. You know, I know that from having discussions with friends of mine outside Letterkenny, and who would say, and you try and talk them through, look, there are times when it is not as busy as other times. And I think the example we used, and I think Leonard Watson would be a great man, and this is the rally weekend. We're always saying now, we saw the evidence this year that from about 9:30 to 4 o'clock, it's like, I remember going into Letterkenny. I think you did as well. I think you had a post up that you flew through it. Yeah. So, but after 4, then
I got some hassle about that though.
I know that. Yeah.
That's the last positive post I'm putting up.
But you wouldn't believe the amount. We were all delighted when we saw your post going up. We said this is a real positive post. But yeah, and it's a difficult discussion. There are ongoing things happening around the Tommy Keys roundabout and Ballyrain. That will be roundabouts taken out, and that it's not going to solve it.
You see, the
all.
thing is and the road planners are very clear on this. Until such time as there is a bypass or some solution, what they're doing at the moment is trying to give everyone the opportunity to get to where they're going.
Yeah.
That you know what I mean. That's what the Polestar was about. It was never about eliminating traffic on the 4 lanes, but it meant if you joined the back of the queue at the Clanree, you knew eventually you're going to get to your destination. The people on the Ramelton Road at the moment don't really feel they have that.
Yeah, it's a challenging one. Yeah.
And I think the hope being, and I'm not saying I'm in favour of it because I simply don't know, the hope being that with more traffic lights out that road, you will know eventually that you'll get to where you're going. Yeah. And that will encourage journeys. You know, you'll get your time through the junction.
And that's interesting you say that as well, Greg, because that's the way that they talk about traffic lights. Traffic lights will eventually get you to somewhere. I think I've seen that in Dublin as well. When you're sitting there, you think, I'm 5 minutes sitting here, but then when they're green, you're gone and you're through it. So and that's one of the hopes. Look, it's going to be an ongoing discussion, Greg, over the next, there's no doubt about it.
I think everyone will be helped by Garda patrols on the streets.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think any big town, and I don't care where it is, and I don't really think it matters about the level of immigration or otherwise. I think every big town now needs a Garda presence just to make people feel safe and secure.
Yeah, so and again, on the back of a few weeks ago, a delegation of us, 3 of us went to, myself, Enda and Leonard, we met the Gardaí 2 weeks ago, and on the back of that, one of our key discussions was about community policing. And in fairness to the Gardaí we met, their ask of us was, and we've written a letter to the new
Commissioner,
just outlining the challenges for Letterkenny and Donegal. And one of the things we've said is you need to bring back community policing. And by community policing, we mean in the old community policing in Letterkenny, you had 4 community Gardaí on the beat, and effectively that's what we've said is we need that brought back in. Currently you've 1, and we asked could we use those numbers, and they said absolutely. So, and Greg, there's no doubt when you have Gardaí on the beat, no matter where it is, it does deter certain things happening.
100%. But we've seen increases in policing in Derry when there were concerns. We've seen increasing in policing on the streets of Dublin when there were concerns. You know, why can't we sort of have that as well? You know, on to another 60 years, I suppose, as well. Is it keep on doing what you're doing? I mean, you know, a chamber will only be successful, or any organisation will only be successful because of its people and the work that it does. Of course, the people that help to do that work, and of course having a reputation for doing what it sets out it will do. Otherwise, it just falls, right? People cease to become members, but the membership's growing all the time.
Yeah, I mean, we've over 335 members. Claire Moore came on as our chamber, our business development manager, led by our CEO, Tony Forrester, who's been 17 years in the job. I think not the challenge, Greg, we've 16 board members who all give up their time voluntary. I think the success of any board or any committee or any voluntary is that you have a good team there. I think that's what we have. We've had that for many years now. So what I would encourage people, if people want to get involved, Greg, put up their hands, give us a shout. We'd love more committee members, board members. We have our subcommittees as well. But you have to keep your question is, how do we keep going for the next 5-10 years? It's having that good structure, which we have now in place as well, good governance structure, and financially we're okay at the moment as well, which is a big plus. But can I give a shout out, do you mind, to the founding board members, Greg, if you don't mind?
Pass around,
because I mean,
it's your interview,
I said because I think this was important. A lot of people recognise these names from 1965 and all deceased now. But if you look at the founding members, were Noel Crossan, Bernard Dillon, James Dillon, Paddy Farron, Donal McLaughlin, Joe Patterson, Dermot Rainey Senior, and Cyril West. So again, they were the founding.
Yeah, they're the founding blocks of where we're at today.
Blocks, and the beauty about it, if people say, well, they're all men. If you look at our chamber now today, the diverse range of people on our chamber.
It's a different world.
It's a different. It is absolutely.
I mean, I know what my mum and dad. My mum worked flat out, but at that time, there was different roles and what have you. And now in modern life, it's more representative. I'm sure there was plenty of females, even though they weren't named there, were having a very strong influence on the direction.
Well, they were the bedrock behind. Yeah. And we just did something small the other night, Greg. You have it there in front of you.
Fascinating. Firstly, R. McCulloch. I haven't seen this before. The light in the box is pretty sexy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Listeners can.
I don't know how if it comes across those watch
on
there.
The camera. Yeah,
there's a wee light. Look that it.
So if you close the box and open it opens.
Look at this now. Look, boom. Oops.
So what apparently, Greg, we're going past that. So this new thing about engagement rings and all that, they're all kind of individualised now, and the boxes
I'm
light
saving
up.
The box. Save the box and stick a €50 ring in there.
But that's not for you.
That's
one of the past presidents who didn't.
What do you mean?
I brought that in just to show you. There, where's it? No, but the lapel. I think the lapel, Greg, is just for listeners. I suppose it was to mark the past presidents.
I wasn't actually really going to take that,
No, but so it's Letterkenny Chamber on the front, and at the back, then
show it up to the camera there.
At the back is the name of the president. And at the back is their name and the year they served as president. It's an individualised. Yeah. And you know what? Just to see some of the people there, I know we'll get you one.
I don't want one. I was joking. It's if I'm going to grab it and hide it on you.
But see the pride in some of those lads. They didn't know this was happening. It was just we'd agreed. So it was lovely just to mark.
It is. It's a nice thing, and it's beautifully packaged. It's got significance, and it's an exclusive club. Like there's not that many,
Yeah.
If you think about it in the wider scale of things.
I think one other thing, Greg, just to say as well. I think I would have said it in my speech tonight. Like the chamber is all about community too, and I think it's a really important thing because sometimes we get wrapped up in the business world, which is what we're about, from a lobbying perspective. But I suppose from a community perspective, and I would like to thank all the community who support the chamber. Our events, Patrick's Day, Christmas lights, busking, all that sort of stuff, and just the support.
It's an ecosystem because it's those businesses also that are supporting fundraisers, donating to charity, giving employment opportunities. It's an ecosystem, and with the buy-in from the community and the buy-in for the business, it doesn't work unless it works really, really well together. So, all right, well, that's
Greg,
60 years and a nice wee thing for you to be back in the hot seat. You were president, weren't you, during COVID?
Yeah, that year.
So that was a bit proud.
So
it's good that you get another crack at the whip because you've been on it for 11 years and you're very passionate for a Corkman. For a Donegal man, very passionate about the town, the county as a whole. A great ambassador for it as well, Jimmy. So well done.
Thanks, Greg, and thanks for your support. And Highland here as well. I know I'm in here on the other side, and Mike, but the support from Highland is huge.
But again, it's another one of those relationships. Good things work because it benefits everyone working together. Brilliant stuff, Jimmy Stafford. Thank you so very much indeed. Back with the weather.
Monster Bingo every Tuesday night at Mulroy Woods Hotel. €3,300 must go with €1,000 on the last page. Doors open 7:30. Bingo starts at 8:30. That's Monster Bingo this and every Tuesday night at Mulroy Woods Hotel, Milford.
Here, would you look at Eco Ende? He's only after going and getting himself one of them new Skoda EVs.
First he went vegan, then he got solar panels, now this.
Yeah, sure, he'd buy anything as long as he can get a grant for it.
Must be from that county beside Monaghan.
The new fully electric Skoda range. The kind of cars that get the neighbours talking. But only if you're quick. Check availability at skoda.ie. Skoda. Let's explore.
Skoda.
Your local Skoda dealer is DMG Motors, Clar Road, Donegal Town. Telephone 074 9721396.
Liven up more fajita nights for less with these Lidl Plus Super Savers. Slice, sizzle and save with succulent Borbia approved chicken fillets, 1 kilogram, 25% off, now just $7.49. And turn up the taste with fresh, vibrant red peppers, 40% off, now 59 cents. Simply scan, pay and save with Lidl Plus.
A public interest message from Donegal County Council. Householders and building owners in areas susceptible to wildfires are advised to cut back or remove any vegetation or other combustible material in the vicinity of their house, building or oil tank to prevent wildfires damaging or destroying their property. Cleared areas should be maintained free of vegetation and combustible material. Members of the public are also reminded that the burning of domestic, industrial, agricultural and construction waste is an offence under the Waste Management Act 1996. Donegal County Council, protecting your environment.
Loganair says, let the wee ones fly. Kids aged 11 and under go fare free. Just pay the taxes. Your next family adventure awaits. Book by the 23rd of September. Find deals at loganair.co.uk. T's and C's apply, subject to availability. Children must travel with a full fare-paying accompanying adult.
Highland Radio weather updates brought to you by McElhenny's. With new season styles arriving daily, discover the latest fashion, footwear and accessories for autumn in store or shop online at mcelhennys.com today.
Okay, so a crisp, dry and sunny start today for most, though cloudier near northern and western coasts. Further cloud will build during the afternoon, but it'll stay mostly dry. Continuing colder than average with highest temperatures of 11 to 14 degrees in light northwesterly winds. A quick break and we'll be back with more of your comments in the news at 11.
If you're going through a difficult time, you're not alone. There are now more mental health support services available for men. These include free counselling sessions, in person or online, as well as confidential phone support, available 7 days a week. Getting support can make a real difference to you and your loved ones. To find out more about the full range of free services available, visit yourmentalhealth.ie/men. From the HSE.
Your wedding day deserves a setting as breathtaking as your love story. At Harvey's Point in Donegal, say I do on the sparkling shores of Loch Esk, framed by the majestic Blue Stack Mountains. From romantic outdoor ceremonies to elegant receptions in our grand ballroom, every moment is designed with love and delivered with 5-star care. Harvey's Point. Love at first sight. True love forever. Start your journey with a personal viewing. Visit harveyspoint.com. Your forever begins here.
For schools, colleges and workplaces, BizPrint can take care of all your printing needs. Books, posters, pop-up displays and much more. Call BizPrint on 9177955 or see bizprint.ie.
Hi, I'm thinking of getting another tattoo to go with my raging dragon one.
Sure. What are you looking for?
Well, maybe something like a...
Bunnies! He wants a row of bunny rabbits with twitchy noses.
Your vote is your voice, so don't let others decide for you.
All holding giant flowers.
Who's that?
Ella. She works in the bank next door.
Make sure you're registered to vote. Go to checktheregister.ie and be a voter, so that it's your voice that's heard. From Comisiún Tábhachtán, Ireland's independent electoral commission.
Too cute. And write Sarah on it.
Cute? I'm a martial arts champion. And my boyfriend's name is Jack.
Thinking of changing your floors? Why not see what Florid Letterkenny has to offer? Florid have a large selection of solid, semi-solid and laminate click vinyl wood flooring, together with a fantastic choice of parquet, herringbone flooring, all at incredible value. Don't delay. Call Florid today on 087 161 7008.
Discover the Address Sligo, your stylish escape on the wild Atlantic Way. Savour local flavours at North Restaurant. Relax in our indulgent spa and thermal suite. And enjoy breaks from just €160 per night. Book direct at theaddresssligo.com.
The Address. is always the right address.
And I mentioned this at the start of the show, but just to reference once again, myself and Aisling were I wasn't invited, I was a plus one, I have to be completely honest, to Molly Dernan's 100th birthday celebrations in the Silver Tassie yesterday. And it was a lovely afternoon. The food was lovely as well. And there was egg mayonnaise as a starter, which I haven't had in years, and it was absolutely delicious. And we enjoyed the company of Kathleen and Eileen as well, who were at the table with us. And also Molly's daughter Mona was there as well, who's an absolutely lovely, lovely lady. And it was great to meet her and other members of the family as well, and particularly Molly, of course. But a big hello to, again, specifically to Mona and Kathleen and Eileen, all powerful Ramalton women. Coming up after 11, we're going to be discussing the weekend's GEA action with Mr. Brendan Devaney.
With all the stories that matter across the Northwest, it's Greg Hughes on the 9 to Noon Show on Highland Radio.
So let's get those 11 o'clock headlines and say good morning once again to Donna Marie Doherty.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. The selling price of the average second-hand three-bedroom semi-detached house in Donegal has surpassed €200,000 for the first time, according to the Real Estate Alliance. A survey has shown that the prices have risen by 19% in the past year. Two independents will continue their efforts today to secure enough support to enter the race for the presidency. Maria Steen is looking to win the support of 20 TDs and senators and currently has the backing of 13. Into Donegal say they are supporting Maria in her presidential bid. Meanwhile, the deputy leader of Sinn Féin says he does believe the party's decision to back Catherine Connolly in next month's election is a game changer and presents a clear alternative to Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. On today's 9 till noon show, Donegal TD Pierce Doherty acknowledged that his name was in the mix as a potential candidate, but his belief and the belief of the party leadership is that he has more to contribute as a member of the Dáil. Police in County Derry are appealing for information following a report of two people being injured after being struck by a horse on the Benone Strand in Limavady. The incident happened at around 11:15 yesterday morning. The man and woman received medical treatment at the scene before being taken to hospital. A 66-year-old man who was arrested in connection with the investigation has since been released on bail to allow for further inquiries. An independent investigation has found no evidence that Damien McCrory, a Strabane man killed by the Provisional IRA, was an informer. It's according to a report in the Irish News based on findings from Operation Canova, which says it's likely he was coerced into a false admission. And finally, an updated primary school curriculum will be phased into schools from next year. Language skills, STEM subjects and personal well-being will be among the key changes, while children will be encouraged to learn through play, inquiry and real-world experiences. There are 5 curriculum specifications, with schools entitled to avail of focused supports in adopting one of the areas every year. That's all for now from the newsroom. Back with more headlines at 12 noon.
Thanks so much, Donna Marie. We'll be back with Brendan Devaney talking GEA after the break.
You saw it. It was just a moment, but you saw how her smile fell. Her words slipped, slurred, but straightened again. She said she was fine. So you waited. But a stroke doesn't wait. You don't need all the signs. One is enough. Remember FAST. Face, arms, speech, time. The second you suspect a stroke is the second you dial 999 or 112. Search HSE stroke for more from the HSE.
Okay, Brendan Devaney, good morning to you. How are you, my friend? I'm good. A week's a long time in football, isn't it? Last week we were walking around the minefield, I suppose you could call it, of Termon v St Eunan's, and here we are a week later, and Termon losing out, and they put up a fantastic battle, didn't they? But I suppose, at the end of the day, it was Niamh Connell that pushed on and got that victory in the end. Yeah, and even in the club game, you need depth in the squad, don't you? Um, Four Masters seemed comfortable against Dunlaughlin. Maybe the scoreline doesn't tell the full story, but just reading it, 20 points to 10. They've booked their place in the last four. Yeah, indeed. It's going to make for an interesting last four. And in that last four, St. Michael's, by all accounts, Michael Langan, the man of the match, the talisman for St. Michael's on the day, to see them past a decent Sean McCool side. Mm, mm. Yeah, indeed. So the finals then, we mentioned Guidor coming through, did we? Maybe we didn't. We didn't. Yeah, Guidor overcoming Kilcar by 3 points. No. Right, so let's look at the semis then, and it's coming thick and fast, thick and fast now. So it's Guidor, St. Michael's. You're favouring the Guidor men in that semi? it's going to really show Four Masters where they are against this team, isn't it? You know what I mean? You're talking about them coming on and they're coming on. But this game will actually really give us a really strong indication of where they are at. Yeah. Great. That's the great thing about sport, because there's counter arguments to that as well, and that's what makes the whole thing so fascinating. Senior Football Championship relegation playoff, St. Noel's losing out to Ardra. There was a victory for Niamh Columba over Red Hughes in the Intermediate Football Championship semi-final. And there was a quarter... Where's that, sorry? Oh, yeah, they beat Niamh Murray, didn't they? Or was it Niamh Murray? Yeah. Okay. Exactly, right. So you're going to be talking of all the major talking points, of course. You've got Maureen O'Donnell on, which is great, John Gilday and Owen McGarvey as well. So that's a pretty tasty lineup for the show this evening. It was funny last week. Last week I was down then at the Garda Awards on Tuesday night. The man's name's going to escape me now anyway. But anyway, I was got Sean Patton up on stage, right? So I was chatting to him. And then in pure ignorance, I asked him about the game, and if I thought the player, the defender his defenders were sort of had an eye on the player who's leaving you know who was sitting directly in front of us at the table? The ref. And I didn't know that. Yeah, the ref's the general manager of Supermax, who was, Supermax in Donegal Town. So I found myself, and in fairness, both great lads, and there was no issue at all. But they must have thought I had this all planned, that I was going to ask this pointed question with the ref sitting at the table in front. But anyway, we got through it. And both of them said they weren't really big talkers, but both did fantastic then when they were chatting to. So I just thought it was a funny little quirk. Oh no, 100%. But like when he said, and he pointed at the ref, I was like, oh my God, I didn't know that. But anyway, as you say, good talker. Right, anyway, you've got a brilliant lineup this evening. Lots to talk about, not just the seniors, but the other competitions and the ladies as well. That's live just after the 7 o'clock news tonight, Brendan. Take care of yourself. Podcast 2 as well for you to listen at your leisure. We are going to be resolving a little issue that we're having if you're watching the stream, and thanks for bearing with us. We figured out there's a slight technical issue with our desk, so that needs to be resolved for Brendan's show tonight as well, but also for this show tomorrow. But thanks for bearing with us. Thanks for letting us know. We do really appreciate it. But in Radio Land, it's all coming through perfectly fine as well, so it's all good. Right, let me see. Shall I take a break or a couple of comments? I'll do comments. Actual medical science isn't being manipulated by governments. You are being manipulated by con men, con women. As long as what we decide to do doesn't cost people's lives. Like, I know there was an awful lot of controversy in relation to COVID jabs. And you know what? There's very strong evidence that those that were warning of certain things in the end were proven right. But what's happening now is there's a growing distrust of vaccines that have been used for multiples of generations that stop kids getting very sick or save their lives or what have you. And now people are sort of lumping that in there as well. And we really need to be careful that we are thinking critically, and some of you were better at that than I, but also think critically to the point whereby we can differentiate between something that is proven and is useful, and that's a good understanding of a condition or a disease, and what is effectively being lumped in with something else? I don't know the answer to all of that, but we just really need to be careful, I think. A caller says Sinn Féin has missed a great opportunity by not supporting Heather Humphreys. It would have been a great show of inclusivity to the unionist people of Northern Ireland. The United Ireland is for everyone, but I suppose Sinn Féin they would feel that they can demonstrate that through Catherine Murphy. Is it Catherine Connolly? Sorry, I beg your pardon. It'll be interesting to see how she gets on. 7 years is a long term as well. Maybe that should be reduced down a little bit. Let me take a break because we've got more guests just around the corner.
The county's #1 talk show, The 9 till Noon Show on Highland Radio.
Without people like you, our efforts would fall flat. But when people like you give blood, someone in need gets a lifeline. Maybe someone just like you. We never get to choose when to need blood, but we can choose when to give. Find out how to become a donor at giveblood.ie. We count on you.
Imagine if you could test drive everything in life. Marriage, new jobs, even your in-laws. Well, at least with your next car you can. At iMotors, we've been helping Donegal families for over 50 years find quality used cars they can trust. All 100% checked and come with a warranty. Take one for a spin today. Visit us in Letterkenny, Malin Village or at imotors.ie.
iMotors, fearless generation.
Hello, Jedward speaking. Sorry, Edward speaking.
Hey bro, I'm glad you picked up.
Who is this?
It's me, John. I'm literally outside in the landing.
I don't know any Sean. Lose my number. Hello?
Edward, don't hang up. I'm sorry for saying a handyman could fix the gas boiler. Please forgive.
Always use a registered gas installer, or you could risk everything. Find one at rgi.ie.
Your local civil defence is now recruiting volunteers. Train in search and rescue, boating, medical response, communications, catering and more. Learning skills that could help build your career. Anyone over 18 can apply to join, and every county has its own civil defence unit. Make lasting friendships while learning essential skills that can save lives. For more information on how to join, go to civildefence.ie/join.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is...
The time now is 11:16, and on this morning's Monday Focus, we look at the Eye Care Centre in Inishowen, celebrating its 25th anniversary. Doreen Friels, a founding chairperson of Eye Care and current chairperson of the Board of Directors. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Greg.
How are you getting on?
We're getting on good.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Bernie Galligan, founding vice chair of Eye Care and current vice secretary of Eye Care and parent to an eye adult service user. Hi, Bernie.
Hi, good morning, Greg. How are you?
Great, and it's great to have you with us. Right, so, Doreen, talk to me about Eye Care, and I suppose maybe start with the gaps that were there, and you know why this was established to try and plug those gaps.
Well, Greg, I suppose you're going back now 25 years, and prior to that, there was very, very little knowledge of or information about autism, to tell you the truth. So my son was diagnosed as autistic when he was 2.5, and I was told at the time that he was the second person in Inishowen to be diagnosed. And I went shopping, looking for something in a shop up the street one day, and I met another parent who was on a very similar journey to myself, and we got chatting. And I suppose it became clear that there seemed to be a group of people around Buncrana and Inishowen who were starting on the same journey, or who had come home from maybe America with a child who had been diagnosed over there. So the HSE at the time, Don McDwyer was there, and he had a huge interest in autism. We were very lucky that way. And anyway, there was a symposium organised in Galway, and myself and another lady, Adele McGonigal, went down to the symposium with a couple of autism therapists from Don McDwyer's service. And it became very, very clear to us when we were there that our children were not getting what other children might have been getting throughout the country. And I suppose that day we decided there and then that we would do something about it.
That when you talk about, one or two children being diagnosed at that time, was it the fact that parents were seeking diagnoses but no services were available, or were children with autism at that time being categorised as something else? I mean, what was going on?
That's a good question, and it was put to me at one stage that the reason that there weren't more people diagnosed was because there was no service for them, and you couldn't really diagnose people with a condition and then say, away you go, we don't have anything for you. So I don't know, Greg, but that's what we were told at the time. So we got into it. We all sort of knew each other then through maybe speech therapy, going to different things, and ended up there was a group of 7 of us who got to know each other, and we decided that we would do something for our children. And iCare was born, and we had our first meeting in somebody's house at the start. That's where we met, and went from there really. And you can tell, like, we've had absolutely huge support from our community, and Inishowen, to survive 25 years as testament, I suppose, to the community and to the founding parents and all the parents who've joined along the way. And so here we are 25 years later. Hard to believe, Greg.
Bernie Gallagher, what always amazes me about these community movements, it's that it's not necessarily the state or arms of the state or the health board or whatever that sort of recognises a problem and tries to put something together forward. It's the people probably with the least amount of time and the most on their plates, i.e., mums and dads, primarily mums perhaps, that say, right, we need to do something for our children. It's fantastic, but it's kind of a shame that it has to be that way too.
Yeah, it often happens, Greg, but when you're in that sort of a situation, you don't have any answers, you don't have the support, you don't have any alternative. It's like any situation, you have to do something about it. And if it means just getting a group of people together and trying to get something running, then why not? You don't have the choice. You have to do something. And Doreen alluded there to the brilliant support that we've had from the community and is shown over the years, and I second that. But as well as that, we've had good support from fellow parents. We keep one another sane, probably would have been the word back in the day, to be quite honest with you. When the help wasn't there, you did need...
There must have been some... Now, this doesn't necessarily take away what one might be going through, but there must have been some solace that rather than individual people going through an experience that it felt very isolating, that once you were in the company of other people and talking with other people that got your situation, got your kids, that must have been huge.
Absolutely. I can't explain to you how isolating it can be.
Yeah.
Because if you have a child that has difficulties with social situations, it might mean you can't go to the shop in peace and quiet. You can't go to the restaurants. There's a lot of things that you can't do easily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can do it, but you need a lot of help and support.
It's like military planning required.
Absolutely.
Almost, yeah.
So it can isolate you.
Not to mention too, also having to maybe deal with a misunderstanding from other people.
Oh, that
happens. You have to get quite a thick skin, wouldn't you? Whereby...
Well, that was one of the main reasons. One of our main goals at the start, Greg, wasn't just to get the best that we could possibly get for our children. It was to raise awareness and understanding of autism, because you're going back 25 or more years, and really there was very little talk about autism at the time, and people didn't understand it. We didn't understand it ourselves. But just to go back to your point about, the solidarity, we found in each other, we found it in the community as well. Like, we approached Sinead McLaughlin and Scoulies again. Yes. Mm-hmm. We approached the IDP. Yes, the support that we got from everybody, we knew that everybody's with us, and we knew that everybody could see that this was the right thing to do. And I understand, it shouldn't have been left to a group of parents, but at the same time, we knew our children better than anybody. My son didn't need what Bernie's son needed. Bernie's son didn't need.
So you were able to develop something then really from scratch that maybe was better than potentially what could have been enforced upon you, even though it might have been deemed as good news.
Yeah.
So what then in the very early stages, because there's no way we can cover 25 years of history in a short chat, but what did you sort of set out as a goal in those early stages, in terms of even maybe a building, how that might be funded, the nightmare it is to try and apply for funding, and or how generous might the local community actually be in achieving the goals that were being set out? Doreen, can you give us a sense of that?
Yeah, I suppose, Greg, our very first mission statement was iCare exists to provide a framework within which families, professionals, autistic people can achieve what they need to achieve, get everything they needed. We needed a school that would provide and embrace the methodologies that our children needed, and we needed speech therapy, we needed occupational therapy, we needed, and sensory integration was just, people hadn't even heard of it. It was only starting to become a thing, and we had to raise money to get all of those things in place. When we set out as a sort of support group for ourselves and to get the very best for the children. At that stage, we didn't have a vision for a building, a site, or anything like that. That came later. So in those initial stages, we wanted our children to have access to every single thing that other children in the community had. That was the goal.
It was early enough on, within 7 years, you'd established a centre effectively in Buncrana. So things moved quickly. I mean, again, we're kind of brushing over 7 years of a lot of stress and planning and funding and everything. But things moved really, really quickly, more quickly than they might if it was something you were trying to apply through from the government or the HSE. Then 2013, that's another key date, isn't it? That's the purchase of land where the current building is located. Is that right?
Yeah. And that was all down to Angela Turish. You've interviewed Angela many times.
How she kept going.
No, I don't know how she kept going either. And in fairness to Angela, and a strong committee behind her, and other parents as well. But Angela had a vision at that stage, and really she did Trojan work for years and acquired the site with the committee and all the rest of it, and with local landlords as well, who were, sympathetic and on board. And so we were very lucky that way, and we're very lucky now to own our site. Where
are you at financially now? Because I know, and this is where it can get very draining, you're trying to provide the services, you're trying to argue for your children, and then you're trying to fill out every form, get involved in media campaigns to try and get enough money just to do the basics, right? And then there was this period of time going back, I don't know how long ago, it was 5 or 6 or 7 years, battling for this 50 grand. It seemed to be a 50,000 figure that you guys got and then Blue Stack got, but there's no certainty about it. There's no planning. And it was you've this euphoria and then this disappointment, and on it goes. So where are you at now in terms of funding the services? And I want to talk a bit more to Bernie about iAdult in a second, but just curious as to what financial footing you're on now.
Well, we're a lot better off now than we were if you had us in here a month ago, Greg. You've heard the recent announcement. The HSE recognise the service that we provide and have agreed to €200,000 every year going forward. That's a huge weight off our shoulders. And we don't mean to seem flippant about that or anything else, but it takes more than that to run iCare.
Of course, yeah.
And the community has sustained us. Up until that, it was sort of 40% funded, 60% dependent on fundraising. We employ over 20 staff. It's very, very difficult to employ staff and to keep good staff, Greg, if you haven't got a secure financial footing. Now, that money will allow us to give a bit of stability to our staff, to maybe to increase our workforce, and to allow us maybe to reach to other parts of Inishowen where it's not just as easy for them to get to Buncrana.
And I guarantee you the services that you deliver are at a fraction of the cost as if the state were to try and deliver them too. So it represents really good value for money. And to have core funding, which hopefully once it's in place can be reviewed or what have you, to have that in place, it's a great start point. It's not everything, right? But primarily you just want to be caregivers, not fundraisers.
100%.
It's not a fundraising organisation, it's an eye care organisation.
Yeah, 100%. And that funding, we've been lobbying for that funding for a long time. Thankfully, we have a great relationship now with the HSE. And, they see and acknowledge the work that we're doing. As you say, to do what we do, when we set up eye care, we were told a few things. One of them was that this will be a marathon, not a sprint, and that is exactly what it has proven to be. No, they weren't. And the other thing that we were advised...
It's an ultra marathon, not just the old 27, 28 miles.
The other thing that we were advised was never to become a service provider. We were told that in no uncertain terms at the start because of what it would involve. But we had no choice. Yeah. There was no choice. There was nothing else there for the children. So, we spend a lot of time obviously planning and activities and all the rest. And that's what we want to do with our time rather than having to be fundraising. Now, in fairness, our fundraising is community led, Greg. We are so lucky. We have a few things that we do every year. Everything else, somebody will come and approach us and say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. So we have been supported and sustained and allowed to keep going by the community.
Stay where you are, because I want to talk about iAdult and also the 25th anniversary iCabaret coming up. But I do have to take a break. So I'm in the company now of Doreen Freely, you've just heard. You've also been hearing from Bernie Gallagher. We'll hear more from Bernie and Doreen after we take a short break.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook and at highlandradio.com.
Bingo every Monday night at the Halfway House Bingo Burnfoot. Doors open at 7:30 with eyes down at 8:30. €2,500 must go. Snowball is now €1,500 on 45 numbers or less. If you're not in, you can't win. That's the Halfway House Bingo Burnfoot tonight at 8:30.
Our best value bundle has just landed in the Virgin Media Playhouse. Watch your must-see live TV, live sports, catch-up TV, and access all the apps you love to binge. Powered by our super-fast, reliable broadband. Bundled together for just €50 a month. Price locked for 12 months. Guaranteed. For more great offers, see virginmedia.ie. Virgin Media. It's playtime.
Subject to location and availability. New customers only. 500 meg broadband and streaming TV, €50 a month for 12 months, €104 thereafter. Separate subscription required for streaming apps. T's and C's apply.
I was in pain for over a year. Once I went to see my GP, he referred me to Kingsbridge. My experience at Kingsbridge was fantastic. Everybody was very friendly. They couldn't do enough for you.
Public patients in the Republic of Ireland can get rapid access to cross-border surgeries at Kingsbridge private hospitals in Belfast and Derry, with medical costs reimbursed by the HSE. Find out more at kingsbridgeprivatehospital.com/cross-border. Kingsbridge, your fast track to 5-star care. Terms and conditions apply.
Get ready for the Donegal League at Brian McCormick Sports. BMC Teamwear, fully personalised kits with matching training packs. Call in to our Teamwear room or send us your wish list to teamwear@bmcsports.ie. Brian McCormick Sports, sponsor of Donegal League Premier Division.
Thinking about changing your car? Making the change is easier than ever at Kelly's Toyota, thanks to Toyota Approved Used. Choose from our extensive range of used passenger and commercial vehicles, including 242 and 251 demo models at great prices. Tested and approved by Ireland's most trusted car brand. All our cars come with a 12-month comprehensive warranty with flexible payment options available. Talk to Kelly's Toyota today. Toyota, built for a better world. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you looking for a new job opportunity? T-Shirt Express Print in Lismonaghan, Letterkenny is hiring. Computer or design software skills are an advantage but not essential, as full training will be provided. We're looking for someone friendly, able to work with the public, and a great team player. This position offers an immediate start. Interested? Send your CV to tshirtexpress@hotmail.com or call 086 343 3504. Join our team today at T-Shirt Express Print, Letterkenny.
Right, so we're in the company of Doreen Friel and Bernie Gallagher of iCare. And Bernie, you are the parent of an iAdult service user. And I also remember over the years the conversation sort of being about this sort of cliff edge that used to be there. And correct me if I'm misframing it, but, you know, that once someone reached the age of 18, not eye care services as such, but just general services, kind of there was not much there.
Right.
Is that how it was?
It was then, but I suppose I was fortunate in that Connor was a school leaver.
Okay.
And he was referred on to iAdult. And we went from there. And I honestly, I can't explain to you how valuable a service it is. I actually moved to Buncrana as a result of the service.
Wow, so you
I
followed
moved-
the service effectively.
Yeah, indeed I did.
Yeah.
We lived in Ballyliffin for short of 20 years, but as he was getting older, I just saw the need for things to just be made simpler.
What age is
for
Connor
me.
now?
He's 32 years of age.
Okay, so in terms of his interaction, his development, his life, what positive impact has iAdult had on him?
It's had a massive impact
Mm.
in that it's given him independence. It's also given him confidence, which I think is key in these situations. And since we moved, it affords him the chance to walk to his service and walk home from his service and just be part of a community.
And that is brilliant for him.
Yes.
But it's amazing for mums and dads to see their children, whether they're 32 or they're 5, right? They're all our kids. It don't matter. This idea that they go away at 18, no. But to just see, to the peace it must bring you with the challenges as well, to see him walking to wherever he needs to go, that level of independence, it just must be settling for you.
It's great for me. And actually, I have found, particularly in the last year, I've seen a bit of a role reversal in our house where he's actually looking out for me. I honestly mean that.
So that's brilliant development.
It's taught him so much how to care for others, including his mother. So I thank you, God, for that. As well as that, he's a much happier young man, and he doesn't give me any trouble.
Yeah,
nothing that I feel on a daily basis spoils my day or anything.
Yeah,
he's a wonderful young man. But I think had we not had that service and the brilliant manager that we have in place at the moment, being Agnes, and prior to that we had Liam Gill, with their help and their encouragement, it has brought him so far in that I don't worry about leaving the house and leaving Connor in it. He has been trained so well in safety, security,
He's
and all
empowered,
of that.
yeah.
And he could live quite independently of his mother. But right now, at the moment,
I'm not really sure any of us can live quite independently from our mother, but I understand exactly
but,
in the context that you mean it.
Short term, okay, there's always going to be a need for supervision there.
Yes, of course.
I'm totally aware of that. But I'm saying overall, the needs have diminished year on year.
And just to pick up on what Bernie says there, Greg,
Please, Doreen.
the sky is the limit here as far as we're concerned. We have our child service, we have our youth group, we have our adult service, but you'll be more aware maybe than me of the statistics in terms of employment for autistic adults, and it's very, very low. And as far as we're concerned, our autistic community, regardless of age or anything else, they deserve every opportunity. They deserve independent living. They deserve housing. They deserve employment. And so we have achieved so much in the past 25 years. There's no taking away from that. But this is a lifelong service as far as we're concerned.
And also, there's an awful lot of people have a role in this. Business owners, the general population.
Yeah.
As well, that we sort of need to stop judging people on certain criteria or whatever it might be.
Absolutely. But Spree Yoga Sport down beside us now have a workability programme, and some of our young adults are using that, and it's just fantastic for breaking down barriers, because our young people are getting an opportunity to go in and do work experience in different places. So it's working out really well, and thank you to Spree for that.
Yeah, indeed. And as people listening in other parts of the county are going, I wish that was where we are. It's astonishing what you have done in that area. And as you say now, with the view of hiring more and expanding out, but it still is, a very important part of the county, don't get me wrong. And there are other services in different parts. But every parent of an autistic child or adult listening to us now really should be able to avail of what we're talking of now, shouldn't they, Doreen?
Absolutely, Greg. And you look at the Blue Stack as well, and the fabulous work they do, parent-led also, achieving huge, things all the time. And I couldn't overstate the importance of parent power. Like, we were a force to be reckoned with 25 years ago, because you know yourself, and any parent out there knows, if there's something that their child needs and there's a way to get it and somebody else is getting it elsewhere. We were so lucky. We predate the National Council for Special Education. I'm a teacher. I taught in the autistic class in Scoileasigan for 7 years, and I'm the ASD coordinator in Cranagh College now. We established iCare before there was ever a national council, and so we were able to have pilot projects. And I know it's exhausting, and now I suppose it's very hard. Most families need 2 people working, so there isn't somebody available to be doing the legwork. We were very lucky back in the day, and we were very lucky with Don McDwyer, but I couldn't overstate the importance of parent power, getting these things up and running. And that new group, Special Needs Donegal Parents, they're doing Trojan work.
I'll tell you from my perspective, sitting in this seat, and I talk to a lot of government politicians, opposition politicians, talk about an awful lot of issues. But invariably, if regular people band together, they're unstoppable.
100%.
And thankfully, we have a platform here where we can support people. But, like the surgical hub, if it ever happens, it was regular doctors, consultants, nurses, GPs that got together. The closing of other services, it's regular people. The group you just talked of, regular people. Yeah. What you have achieved, regular people. And that's where the power is. It's not necessarily... Now, you do, of course, at times need politicians to support or get behind or eventually make the decisions. But I'll tell you, anything big that's been achieved, it feels to me very much like it's people that have provided that. Right, the iCare Cabaret, the iCabaret, it's always a biggie anyway. It's coming up on Saturday the 27th, which is actually this coming Saturday at 7:30pm till late, which sounds quite ominous. It's in the beautiful settings of the Inishowen Gateway Hotel. It's a night not to be missed. It's always a special... I love how tickets are 25 quid and it's the 25th anniversary, but that represents fantastic value for money. It's always a big event. And one not to be missed, Bernie. Are there still tickets available?
There are, yeah. But we'd encourage people that are thinking about it to maybe just grab them
look it off the pot.
Yeah.
Let me put it like that. Yeah.
Pick them up and be sure that you're going to be there on Saturday night, because it's going to be a great night. It's great value for money.
Get the tickets, but actually be there, because it's great fun.
It's important.
Absolutely,
be there as well. Like, it's not necessarily just about
I'm really
helping.
looking forward to meeting parents that we would have connected with over the years. Maybe some of the founding parents as well that'll be able to join us on the night. So I can't wait.
Who are you going to be wearing?
Smart casual, if you don't mind.
We're going to be wearing something vintage from our I Create shop on the main street in Buncrana, Greg. If anybody wants to call in there, there's tickets available there too.
So there's entertainment on the night, there's supper, and there's a live band as well. It's on a Saturday night too, which is great. It is Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tickets are just €25. That's obviously contributing to the cost of putting an event on this, but also supporting iCare. But to be there to celebrate 25 years, get your tickets, but also go. It's a great night. You know what I mean? It's not just about supporting, it's about getting along and being part of the buzz and part of the atmosphere. And it is it's a lovely setting.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Loads
the
of parking
Gateway
and all that
have
kind
always,
of stuff. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah.
All right. Tickets are available at iCare's office or on Eventbrite. I've never used Eventbrite. Never ever used Eventbrite once, but anyway. You can surcharge the iCabaret with iCare on eventbrite.com. We'll get you tickets at the iCare office. Ladies, anything obviously, listen, we can't pack 25 years into half an hour, but is there anything that you want to mention, or you kind of had down that I want to say this while I'm down there?
Yeah, just to say that the tickets are also available in the shop on the main street to save anybody who might be walking, going down to the centre. We have an open day now on Wednesday, the 20th, this Wednesday, coming with a photography exhibition, and this is really for the children. But we'd love everybody to call on, anybody who's passing or anybody who's picking up people from school. Call into iCare on your way past. It should be a lovely day, and we hope that the weather will be kind to us. And also,
is it Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday's going to be lovely.
Yeah, well,
nice and bright, and bright and dry. Yeah.
That's good. And over the summer, we had the nationwide cameras down, so look out for us coming up soon on nationwide. And, to get back to Saturday the 27th, we launched in the Gateway with an Alton concert when we set up iCare. It was a packed house, and we would just love a good, busy house now on Saturday.
Yeah, nice
just
full
to celebrate
full
with
circle
us.
moment.
Yeah,
wouldn't it
be
be?
lovely.
Yeah, okay. Bernie, best wishes to Connor and the rest of the family.
Thank you so much, Greg.
And Doreen, keep doing, both of you, what you're doing. It's astonishing what you are doing, what you have done, and what those before you have done.
Yeah, exactly.
And how much of themselves they've given, really, to establish what's here right now. It really is truly remarkable. And I'm delighted that there seems to be a strong footing. It doesn't answer all the questions, right, but a strong footing going forward, that you're not rattling the jar constantly and waiting for a grant decision or this, that and that. Go ahead.
One more thing.
I know there's always one more thing with Doreen. Someone messaged me, I hear you've got one more thing, Doreen, on the show today. It's like Columbo.
I know, once I get started.
Like Columbo, you think he's just finished, but there's one more. I'm only joking, Doreen.
No,
Go
that's
ahead.
okay. I just want to thank the committee that we put together, a working committee for the iCabaret night, and I really want to thank them for all their work. I want to thank all the sponsors. We have so many sponsors, and a huge thanks to them, and to the local artists who are coming along and giving of their time for us again. So thanks everybody for everything you do for iCare.
And I would say it's very easy for those people to support such a brilliant organisation. Doreen Friel, thank you so much indeed. Bernie Galligan, lovely to see you. And we'll be back with the weather and more on the 9 till noon show after the break.
At Blue Poppy Dentistry and Orthodontics, we're proud to offer expert care in crowns and bridge work through our skilled team, Doctors Tang and Wazik. Whether you need to restore strength, structure, or enhance your smile's appearance, Blue Poppy delivers high quality, tailored solutions that put your comfort and confidence first. Call us on 074 9120355 or book online at bluepoppydental.com. Blue Poppy Dentistry and Orthodontics, Letterkenny and Donegal Town, where your smile finds its strength.
You want a little treat but not chocolate or gelato? Check out this coffee that we made called Bravato. Sit and sip it slowly, or if you're in a rush, it tastes as good on foot or while you wait for the bus. Deliciously different. Get your new favorite cup. If you want some roasted goodness, come hit us up. Your taste buds have voted. They want a flavor that's goated. They are ready to thrive. Now Bravato's arrived. Deliciously different. Find your nearest store at bravado.com.
Elvis Spectacular live at Jackson's Hotel Friday, September 26th. Europe's top Elvis tribute returns to Ballybuffet with powerhouse vocals, 9-piece TCP band and the Sweet Sensations. Enjoy iconic hits, dazzling costumes and a Las Vegas experience for just €25. Book at jacksonshotel.ie for an unforgettable night of Elvis magic.
A laptop with great power, brilliant performance and premium sound, all for just €429. At Ben Sweeney Euronics, get the refurbished HP EliteBook laptop with Windows 11, 32 gigs of RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage. Enjoy a crisp screen display and Bang & Olufsen audio for crystal clear sound. Perfect for work, study or play. All for just €429 with a 3-year warranty, only at Ben Sweeney Euronics, Port Road, Letterkenny and the shopping centre Dunlow.
It's the Right Price Tiles wood flooring and bathware 70% off sale. Get up to 70% off all your purchases. Up to 70% off all tiles, all wood flooring, all bathware. Everything's reduced in store. The 70% off sale at Right Price Tiles wood flooring and bathware. Stores nationwide. Sale now on.
Highland Radio weather updates brought to you by McElhenney's. With new season styles arriving daily, discover the latest fashion, footwear and accessories for autumn in store or shop online at mcelhenneys.com today.
So a crisp, dry and sunny start today for most, though cloudier coasts. Further cloud will build during the afternoon, but it'll stay mostly dry, continuing colder than average. Temperatures 11 to 14 degrees. Julian Heffernan is Director of Communications with Banking and Payments Federation Ireland. Gillian, I beg your pardon. Gillian, thank you so very much for your time. Right, we're doing this every year now, and it's really important to get the message out there, because I think really the victims of this really, are coming to age and coming to this situation every year. Almost €9.4 million has been laundered through money mule accounts in the 12 months to June 2025. It's a huge amount of money, and that means there's a lot of people involved in this, Gillian.